combine the biggest name in entertainment, the biggest name in racing, and the biggest name in sports, and you have magic. With a $500,000 purse and a field filled with big names and big surprises, Walt Disney World, NASCAR, and ESPN present the NASCAR Chevy Trucks Challenge live from the Magic Kingdom. There is a great deal of excitement in Central Florida as ESPN Speed World, the world leader in motorsports coverage, comes to Orlando, where 25 years ago, Walt Disney's vision came to life. The creation of the Magic Kingdom, and then nothing but growth. Epcot became the second major theme park of Walt Disney World. Then Hollywood cast its own magic spell over Central Florida with the creation of Disney MGM Studios. Now, this exciting new attraction beckons to the race fans of America. Walt Disney World Speedway hosts the 1997 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series opener, the Chevy Trucks Challenge. Hey, we have a host of established stars and a small army of enthusiastic newcomers hoping to race their way into history as the first NASCAR race winner here at the Magic Kingdom. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain. We welcome you to the opening of the Major League Motorsports season on ESPN for 1997. What a race and what a place. We are just inside the main gates of the Magic Kingdom. If you need any more evidence that NASCAR has moved into the motorsports mainstream, consider that we are here at the #1 tourist attraction in America. This is one of 3 new tracks on the schedule for 1997, a schedule increased to 26 events. You'll see 10 of them here on ESPN. I'm going to give you 2 measures of the excitement generated by this race. More than 60 drivers came here looking for 36 starting spots, and 2, look in the eyes of the big guy here. Benny Parsons, I don't know when I've seen you more jacked up before the start of a race.
Dave, and folks, I am excited because I think we have so much talent here in 1997. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, from the very first qualifier back to the 36, tremendous amount of talent. And when they go to San Francisco at the year end to crown their champion, all 36 of these guys think they can win. Now, the 1995 champion, Mike Skinner, he's moved onward and upward to the Winston Cup Series. But I'm not too sure in 2 or 3 years with the talent we have here that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be a stopping place, not a place to move on to something else that's bigger and better, because this might be as big as anything.
Well, question number 1 then, who's going to drive Skinner's truck in 1997? For that story and more, let's go to pit road, one of 2 men who will patrol that area today. Hello, Bill Weber.
Hello, Dave. This truck won 16 of the first 44 truck races, and as Benny mentioned, Mike Skinner graduated with honors to the Winston Cup Series. Now it's Jay Sauter who hopes to race to the head of the class, but he only got a C in qualifying on Saturday. He starts 21st. Still, Jay is part of a promising crop of young talent that hopes to flex some muscle here in the Truck Series, like Kenny Irwin Jr. He's the 1996 USAC Midget Champion, but now he moves to trucks. Last year in September at Richmond, he won the pole and finished 5th. But a new season for you here, a huge jump, and obviously high hopes.
Very high hopes. Today we just got to be patient and finish the race and run 200 laps.
Kenny Irwin starts 7th. Now, the new line in the drivers' meeting this morning was gentlemen and lady have a good race. That's because Tammy Jo Kirk has moved to this series to drive for Jeff Bodine. Tammy Jo was 7th in points in the Slim Jim All-Pro Series last season and now moves to the Truck Series. She starts 9th. She's a story not because she's a lady and not because she's in a truck, but because she's a racer, and I know you're excited about today.
I tell you, I really am. I got this lovable Ford truck here with Jeff Bodine up on the radio with me, so I think we ought to have a good shot today.
Those are just 2 of the fresh faces in this series, a mix of young and old. And how optimistic are these drivers on opening day? Well, a trip through the garage area this morning got you more positive predictions than a call to the psychic hotline. But it will take 10 months and 26 races before we know whose crystal ball was crystal clear. Now, for more on the guys at the front of the field, let's go to Marty Reed.
Yeah, Billy, I called that psychic hotline. They said the odds-on favorite for the championship in 97 may be sitting right here on the front row. Jack Sprague finished 2nd last year, and big thing, though, is you're 0.3 of a second over the rest of the field. 2 questions for you. You had the flu yesterday. How are you feeling, and are you going to try and run away from this pack?
Well, I feel pretty good, unfortunately. We usually do better when I don't, but truck's awful good once again. You know, Dennis and the whole Quaker State team's done a great job, and this Quaker State Chevrolet is really running good. It's ran good right off the truck, so, you know, I'd just like to thank everybody back there at home who works on these things and don't get to come to the racetrack, but I think we got an awful good truck to win the race.
Well, the guy that's going to be the other odds-on favorite for that championship is starting right behind him, and that is Ron Hornaday Jr. This is a guy who has finished 44 straight races. That's consistency. But you were telling me you made a ton of changes after the last practice yesterday.
Well, I don't know if it was a track or what we did when we undid the tape, but the truck wasn't as good in the last practice, so we made some changes this morning. We're real confident. John Munstrom and all the guys did a great job with his Napa Chevrolet to put it here in third spot. So we'll see what we do. It's 200 laps. We got a chance to change it if we have to in the middle break.
All right, guys, that's the front end of this field, but boy, there's a lot of competition here.
Established stars and a remarkable 10 candidates for Cintas Rookie of the Year in the field. We'll take a look at the starting lineup when we come back to Orlando for more of the excitement. Live from Orlando, ESPN coverage of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the season opener, the Chevy Trucks Challenge, brought to you today by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Quaker State Motor Oil for a clean running engine. Big crowd gathered as Michael Grimaldi, General Motors Vice President, prepares to give us the word.
On radio as well as watching by television for this, the inaugural race of the Chevy Trucks Challenge. We're all looking forward to an action-packed race, so let's get started. Tammy Jo and gentlemen, start your engine.
Pressure yesterday of qualifying just to get into this show. That's all history now. This is a very tricky racetrack, and these people, I think, are doing the heat.
They really are, and it is a tough racetrack. A racetrack that these trucks have not raced on before, and it will be tough. We see the Mickey in the middle infield, a little lake, and there's the racetrack, folks. It's 1 mile tri-oval, something like Pocono. The front straight, 910 feet. The middle straight, a little over 1,000 feet, and the back straight, or between 2 and 3, almost 575 feet. Turns 1 back 10 degrees, turn 2 8.5, and turn 3 7 degrees. And folks, we're going to call this 3 turns today, not 6, but 3 turns.
And they will run 200 miles here this afternoon in 2 segments, as is the tradition, and this the third NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There will be 2 competition yellows in the first segment, lap 45 to 55, and in the second, 145 to 155 to refuel the trucks. The halfway break will be 5 minutes. They get 2 sets of tires. They'll change at the midpoint. Over $500,000 in prize money on the line. And as it notes, the race may not end under caution. And that's a rule that I particularly like that they've brought to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. An impressive starting lineup. We mentioned that we have 10 rookie drivers in the field. That is a measure of the new talent coming into this series. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid. Jack Sprague with his 4th career pole, 3rd on the mile ovals in the Chevy, alongside Michael Waltrip over from Winston Cup in the MW Windows Ford.
Back in row 2, the defending champion of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Ron Hornaday, and Toby Porter, rookie, qualifying 4th.
Porter, of course, crashing in qualifying. We move to 5th starting spot. Kelly Denton up from the ARCA ranks, and Bob Keselowski, the veteran, with a lot more backing this year from Dodge.
On the inside of row 4, we just talked to him, Kenny Irwin Jr. and Joe Nemechek, Winston Cup regular on the outside.
You've met the graduate of All-Pro in motorcycles, the first woman to saddle up a truck, Tammy Jo Kirk in the lovable Ford, Michael Dockett in the Dana Corporation Dodge.
And Dean Roper's boy, Tony Roper, on the inside of row 6, and Rich Bickle and Darrell Walton's truck on the outside.
Jimmy Hensley jumps into the truck that Bickle drove last year, driving for Richard Petty in 43, and Curtis Markham, the Bush and Bush North veteran.
And on the inside of row 8, Chuck Bound. That's Jack Roush's truck, and Joe Rubbin, his teammate, the other Roush truck on the outside.
Lance Norick, the pride of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, alongside Butch Miller, who hooks up this year with former driver, now owner, Walker Evans.
And Bill Elliott protege, Ron Barfield Jr. on the inside of row 10, and Rick Corelli out of Denver.
Jay Sauter says, I'm not here to fill Skinner's shoes. I'm here to make my own footprints. He'll be in the black number 3 alongside Kenny Hendrick from California.
And in Carl Wagner's truck, Bobby Dotter and Rick Crawford, the all-pro driver, on the outside of row 12.
One of the 5 fastest trucks from the get-go, but qualifying 25th. Mike Bliss disappointed with that. He's alongside last year's Rookie of the Year, Brian Ruffner.
On the inside of row 14, Charles Hardy's truck, Lonnie Rush Jr. and Dave Resendez, 3-time winner in 1996.
West Coast veteran Dan Press is hooked up with his old friends at Spears Manufacturing to drive number 75. Joe Nemechek's little brother John is number 8.
And the last row qualifiers, Randy McDonald, car 0, and Stacy Compton out of Virginia.
The provisional positions go to Doug George, who has a 3-race deal to start the season. Alongside him will be Toby Butler, and Butler replacing Bob Brevac after an incident in qualifying for Butler. He still gets into the show. Boris said driving for Ernie Irvin, and Kenny Allen rounding out your starting lineup. 36 trucks made the show. A lot of notable drivers went home, including Felix Giles, who was hoping to be the first African-American driver in the series. Shane Doles from ARCA, Randy Tolsma from USAC, Tony Raines, the ASA champion, Darren Brassfield, the former 24 Hours of Daytona winner, and Mark Kinzer, the World of Outlaws champion. None of them made the cut.
It was tough to make the field here today. We have 6 onboards today. We'll be riding along, Boris said, in the Federated Auto Parts Ford.
A great road racer driving for Ernie Irvin. Here's Mike Bliss, twice a winner last year in the Team ASE Ford.
Ron Barfield, the Super 8 Motel Ford, owned by Bill Elliott.
Elliott will be watching those pictures today for sure. Jimmy Hensley getting a new ride for this year and excited to be in the Cummins engine Dodge.
There's Rich Bickle, the Sears Diehard truck.
And Joe Nemechek's also going to have the onboard camera with Bell South Mobility, number 87 for Nemechek. Finally getting a chance to race close to home. We are set to kick off the 1997 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Jack Sprague brings the field down to the green flag.
Now, we've seen these cars practice side by side. Can they run truck rest? We'll find out. So far, so good.
Sprague got a great jump on Waltrip, who couldn't stand the pace set by Hornaday through turns 1 and 2.
That the cars go, the trucks actually go by the camera, because the camera would move as these trucks went by. There's Nemechek on the inside of Keselowski trying to take a spot away. That's Nemechek in 87. Bob Keselowski in 29. Onboard camera with Nemechek, the precision gear on board.
Easy for you to say, yes. Benny. That green truck, of course, is Kelly Denton running 4th. This is Jay Sauter in his first drive for Richard Childress, and that's number 32 that he's chasing, Kenny Hendrick from the West Coast. Kenny's got his teeth at midgets and sports cars. He's the twin brother of the late Kara Hendrick, and in hot pursuit of him, and number 14 is Rick Crawford out of the All-Pro ranks.
Crawford said it's a brand new truck. Just completed a couple of weeks ago or last week by Mike Laughlin. We see Sauter as he tries to get closer and closer to the front. Meanwhile, a battle right in front of him.
That was Barfield that he's chasing, and I see some too wide racing through that first and second turn. You can get yourself in trouble in a hurry if you run too wide. The 31 is Raines. His dad, the 3-time USAC champion, Dean Roper. This is his boy Tony doing a nice job out there so far.
Oh, got a crash up in the corner.
Tammy Jo Kirk has hit the wall. The first woman ever to make the grade in this series with a great qualifying run. She's been, I think, the success story of the weekend. The success did not last long. She has clobbered the wall at turn 2. Hit it pretty hard, Danny.
Pretty serious damage.
The first yellow of the day flies over Walt Disney World Speedway. We'll take a break and come back with more. We're back in Orlando, just ready to go green. The green is in the air. Lap 6 for the restart after Tammy Jo Kirk hit the wall in turn 2, and she is just now exiting pit road and will be directly in front of the field as they come back up to speed. There she is down on the apron as the leaders and championship favorites, Sprague and Hornaday, head for turn 2.
Looks like the work that Hornaday did on his truck is working out as he pushes the 24 truck.
Hornaday on a mission, wanting to defend that championship. That's Michael Waltrip. I was going to say in third, but forget that. He is around Hornaday and into second spot.
And your Hornaday is going to try to get him back. It might have been a little conflict between the two.
Rod tried to get him loose, but Waltrip hangs on. Now here comes Nemechek wanting a piece of Hornaday. That would be the multicolored number 87, and we go on board with Joe.
And these boys getting racy early on in the Walt Disney World Speedway.
It's an interesting racetrack. It looks wide. The drivers will tell you it is in fact narrow, and passing opportunities at a bit of a premium.
And Joe Rudman goes on the inside of Kelly Denton. Kelly is awfully high in that green truck, number 30, and loses 3 spots.
And right behind him, Keselowski had no place to go and also dropped backwards. Shuffling for position. We were about to mention that traffic is going to be a big issue here. We were going to refer to lap traffic. This, of course, is race for position traffic. Let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, Tammy Jo radioed in. Her truck was just too loose. She couldn't keep it out of the wall. She's got a heavy damage to the left rear quarter panel. Back out on the track, dragging the bumper a little bit. She may be back in, but this team really disappointed. They were really hoping for a great start to the season here at Disney World.
Well, how long is it going to be before one of us calls number 98 Butch Miller? I will not be the first to do that. That is Kenny Irwin Jr., and he is running in 7th spot. And following him is Rich Bickle in the number 17. We've got spinning trucks. That looks like Dan Press on the right-hand side of your screen. That would be the Spears number 75. And Kirk is involved again. The other truck involved is Kirk.
Almost the same identical spot that she hit the wall just a moment ago. We see now there's more damage to the rear as the rear tailgate is about to come loose, and Press some heavy damage to the right front. Let's see if we can tell what happened up in turn 2. This is turn 2. There we see Dan Press on the inside of Tammy Jo. Goes out on the inside. Might have been some contact between he and Nemechek. And he barely touches Tammy Jo enough that she loses control and backs in the fence.
Yeah, that's too bad. She was all alone the first time. That time, she was an innocent bystander. Nemechek into the back of Press, and that's going to bring both Dan Press and Tammy Jo Kirk to pit road for attention. You got to be impressed with Dan Press. Here's a guy who's been doing this an awfully long time. He's been both a driver and a crew chief over his career. Here you see the damage to the lovable draw Ford owned by Jeff Bodine. Press decided he was going to hook up with Spears this year, lost 30 pounds. Ben, he was looking pretty fit down there in the garage here.
I didn't even know him. I said, who's that guy over there? Now, really, I didn't know, but he did look very impressive. And Kenny Hendrick had slowed just before this accident. I didn't think he would be able to make it back, and he has stalled over at coming off right in the middle of turn 2, as a matter of fact.
So a couple of the newcomers to this series have found it tough sledding thus far. Sprague is the leader. We'll be right back. They call it the Tower of Terror. Well, this has been a terrible day for a couple of newcomers to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series thus far. No problems for Sprague and Hornaday as they have run up front from the get-go. Nemechek is around Waltrip now to take over third, and Joe Rutman, who didn't qualify as well as he had expected, now runs in the 5th spot. We understand there is a problem with Kelly Denton's truck that created that earlier incident. Let's get that from Marty Reed.
Yeah, guys, they are really frustrated down here with Kelly's operation. They qualified 5th, but the Bristol, Virginia 23-year-old has got a miss. He's only on 7 cylinders. He just can't keep the pace. Bill Weber, what do you got?
Well, Tammy Jo's been here and left. She has substantial damage now to the rear of her truck. Meanwhile, Dan Press sits in his truck on pit road. And don't forget the 20 truck. Butch Miller's also dropped a cylinder. He's on 7.
Butch Miller's had a tough time here. They were reasonably fast. Challenged the top 10 through most of practice, and then crashed in the final practice session due to a motor problem. Now they've lost a cylinder. We kind of glossed over Ruttman there, Benny, but that's been an impressive performance so far for that number 80 Roush truck.
I hope to tell you, started in 16th spot and already up to 5th position.
He is one of 2 drivers who expected to qualify much better than they did. The other one was Mike Bliss. So far, Bliss has picked up 4 spots. Let's take another quick look at that earlier incident.
This is on board with Boris said. Boris said, wow, I missed this wreck.
He had a face full for sure as we go back to green. Battle for the lead. Hornaday challenging on the outside. Gets a fender now a truck length in front of Sprague. We have a new leader.
Wow. Can you pass on the outside in turn 1? Hornaday says, I can.
Michael Waltrip said before the race he thought you could do that. He's about to get passed on the inside as they go to 2. That's Nemechek, and he's dragging Ruttman with him from 16th. Ruttman is challenging for 4th. Ooh, Hornaday gets loose with Sprague all over his tailgate.
Here they come again, and this time Sprague from the inside of Hornaday. Wow. Now let's see if he can stay on the outside, Ken Hornaday.
Sprague says, I think the bottom is the better over the long haul run. I would like to retake the lead from Ron, and he's got it, but not by much.
Now then, Hornaday was able to race him. Oh, he dives down to the inside, gets to the bottom of the racetrack, does not want to try the outside right now.
Precision Gear tells us that you're riding with Joe Nemechek, a very close 3rd as the Winston Cup driver hops into the middle of the fray. Good race, and basically what we expected in one regard, Benny, and that is Sprague and Hornaday to be tough, but believe me, the challengers lined up behind them are certainly in the mix for the lead here with Nemechek and Ruttman right there. Ruttman's probably the fastest truck out there right now.
He just might be. We didn't expect to see this much passing at this racetrack because it's a very difficult racetrack. When these trucks tested in December, about 10 of them crashed, went home in a wad. We did not expect to see passing, especially this early on. But look, Michael Walter has already moved up the racetrack trying to find a better groove.
And that's Kenny Irwin Jr. tucked in behind him, the National USAC Midget champion, taking a shot at truck racing. He adapted to the trucks pretty quickly. First time he sat in one, he sat on the pole. That at Richmond, Virginia last fall. Sprague beginning to stretch it out just a little bit. Let's see if we can find Jay Sauter, the number 3 truck, now 13th on the field and going forward. He qualified 21st.
And that is Curtis Markham in the 13th truck, the Visa truck right behind.
Markham's been pretty impressive. That's Mike Colavucci's truck. Mike was entered in the truck here, but Markham, for the 2nd time in his career, hopped into it and has done very well, moving forward from 13th. Let's go to Bill.
Well, Jay Sauter is coming through the field at a pretty good rate. And you know how hard these guys work building new trucks during the off-season? That's not a new truck. In fact, that truck Jay's in won the first truck race at Phoenix in February of 1995. They thought about making a shock change before qualifying, decided not to. That turned out to be a mistake. He qualified 21st. But I just talked to his crew chief, Joe Shears, and he says his truck is coming through the front. And that truck was ticketed for a museum until Mike Skinner had a big wreck at Homestead in the season opener last year, and Richard Childress had to bring it back into action.
Shear, by the way, is a new crew chief. We'll talk more about that a little later, perhaps. Right now, we've got a terrific battle for 3rd. Nemechek hanging on to it. Ruttman is all over him. And Ruttman says one of the keys to this racetrack is right there. You got to get the truck in wide and then apex the corner, then be able to get the gas back on quickly to run wide open through here, and that's scary.
That is scary. Wide open through turn 3. Some of these trucks are trying to do it. Here's Ruttman on the inside. That camera's telling us just how close that he is to the back of Nemechek.
Joe getting a pretty good look out the back as Ruttman challenges him. Ruttman got from 16th to 4th quickly. Now has stuck there behind Nemechek. And behind him, Michael Waltrip sits in the 5th spot. No, that's not Michael's initials on the hood of the truck. That's MW Windows, his sponsor.
I'm told that Tammy Jo Kirk has been given the black flag by the NASCAR officials, evidently dragging a piece of sheet metal or something around the racetrack. Ruttman tried to look on the inside, and there Michael Walt get in a battle on the inside, a challenge from the inside.
Kenny Irwin Jr. was making that move. And also back there trying to get into that fray, I believe, was Bickle. Those guys hoping to close in position. Michael Dokken deserves a call. As you see there, he is 6th.
That was Dokken that went by Michael Walt just a moment ago. Wow.
So give Dokken a position. Move him up to 5th.
And that Dokken is driving the Dana Dodge. Kurt Rourke's new team in 1997. Folks, I'm telling you, it's from beginning to end. Great race car drivers, great trucks. Chuck Bound trying to get by Barfield. That's Bound in 99 and Barfield in 94. And those two Fords are side by side.
That is not one of the places where the drivers told you they'd like to run side by side and make a pass. But it worked out very well for Bound, who will drive the entire season in that Roush Racing number 99 Ford.
This is the blue truck there. It's Rick Crawford. And Brian Refner in the red and white truck on the outside. That was the Rookie of the Year in the 1996 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
That was 16, 17, and 18. We get back to the 13 and 99 battle for position, which is 13th and 14th.
Give it to Chuck Bound, the Exide battery truck.
And let's go ahead and add Barfield's 94 to that mix, although he is losing ground to Bound. And now to Markham as number 13 is moved by as well.
That white truck we keep seeing behind is Dave Resendiz and Jeff O'Dine for the truck.
Ron Barfield driving for Bill Elliott says, I don't want to give up that position to Markham. Takes it back.
And Barfield comes along with him.
Resendiz without sponsorship this year. The QVC efforts are all focused on Jeff O'Dine's Winston Cup car. So Resendiz, who has been both a crew chief and a driver, and last year won 2 races in this series, is all white, no sponsors. Currently 16th as he works on the rear deck of Barfield.
Dave Resendiz started in 28 spots, so obviously moving forward.
Jack Sprague has opened up a healthy advantage over Ron Hornaday and the rest of the field. We're at Orlando, Florida, where it's warming up. Stay with us. I'm looking for the right word. Battle, brawl occurs to me. This is a position fight from, let's see, this would be 7th on back. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, however far you want to measure it. The black 3 making the move there is Jay Sauter, and that's going to get him close to the top 10. Terrific competition behind the leader, Jack Sprague. Meanwhile, more on the Kelly Denton story from trackside.
Yeah, guys, they think originally it was, a missing spark plug, but they've checked the wires now. Now they're heading for the alternator because the battery is discharging. So this is going to be an extended stop. It's going to cost Kelly Denton a lot of laps.
Kelly Denton burst on the scene big time last year in ARCA and got a lot of screen time on ESPN, Benny, and now I think that helped him get into the truck field.
He certainly did. Just a young man, 23 years old. His brother Ron, the crew chief on that vehicle. Car's owned by Greer Lackey out of Taylorsville, North Carolina. And you racing fans know where Taylorsville is.
Nemechek, the leader in this pack, has backed up a little bit. His number 87 is now fully in the grasp of the 17 of Rich Bickle. Dueling camera trucks here as you look from Bickle's now 6th place truck. And again, they are at the head of the field that have been battling for position about 10 spots back. Good scrap.
Kenny Irwin, your best is Ford, following Bickle, and Bickle's going to look on the inside of Nemechek.
Joe had it hooked up pretty well early, but now it looks like the handle may be going away. Bickle will move by. Nice shot.
He's trying to move by. Nemechek does not want to let go because there's another one right there. We saw the shadow come in. Joe, don't turn left because they're on the inside. There goes Irwin.
And Dokken will be next in line in the blue truck down on the inside.
And Dokken, folks, did lose about 4 or 5 positions while we're in break just a moment ago. He and Nemechek were battling, and he got sideways, and he got passed by about 5 trucks.
And now give Rick Corelli a call as he brings the red and white number 6 into 7th position.
And Jay Sauter dives in there, puts the 3 truck alongside Nemechek. Before you get on the outside, and positions can go away. There comes Bickle. He says, get out of the way. I'm on the inside. But Nemechek tries to knock him out of the way so he can get to the inside. And Joe, don't do it. I'm telling you, Joe, that's it.
Hensley said, I'm a pretty mild-mannered guy, but don't try to do that to me, Nemechek. And Hensley gets the spot.
Am I calling Rich Bickle?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay,
I think you did.
It is Jimmy Hensley and Richard Petty's Cummins Dodge. Hey, finally got to the inside. Attaboy, Joe. Talking about Nemechek and Precision Gear. Bell South car.
I'll tell you, there's been an awful lot of shuffling of teams and drivers. A lot of familiar names and faces with new paint jobs this year, and it'll be tricky. I guarantee you, Benny, you won't be the only one to make that mistake before this race is over. Who's going to be the first call? Jay Sauter, Mike Skinner, as he moves up in the black 3 to now 9th position. There he is.
There's Dave Resendiz. He continues to go forward in that number 7 Jeff Bodine truck. He's on the back tailgate of Nemechek. Started 28. Now he's on lap 36 up to the 12th position and battling for 11th.
So Nemechek falling out of the top 10 after contending for the lead early on. Gets a visit from Resendiz, the Massachusetts former NASCAR modified star. Resendiz, of course, won the series opener a year ago, also here in Florida. Different racetrack, further south, down at Homestead. Came from 10th, won the race.
And looking to come off the corner, turn it left and accelerate. Has position.
If he can win it here, that would help put some sponsored paint on that number 7. Nemechek trying to stay as close to the preferred line as possible and perhaps to intimidate a little bit, but Resendiz is not intimidated at all.
And look at Nemechek. Oh, man, that's close.
Side by side all the way around. Chuck Bound said, I'm going to get up here and push Resendiz on by, and we'll get on with this. And the number 90 or 29 of Keselowski will be next in line, then Barfield.
It's a great battle. That's 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. They're all in a big wad. Ooh. That time Resendiz moved over, got him a little bit better run to the corner, but it didn't help.
I think Nemechek has found his spot now. He's leveled off at 11th spot, and he's trying mighty hard to hang on to that position.
Because he knows right now if he just backs up and let these guys go by, there's 2 other trucks going by.
Bound, it looked like he had a notion to make it 3 wide. Resendiz gets a truck length in front, and now will go on, pulling away actually rather quickly from Nemechek once he got past him.
And Chuck Bound in the 99 XAT truck not able to follow.
The Roush stable will field 2 trucks for the entire year. One of them will be the 99 of Bound, the other the number 80 of Ruttman, who is now the 2nd place truck out there. And let's check on the progress of Mike Bliss, who has come. Oh, we got trouble. Up. Bound and Nemechek have gone around at turn 1.
Good job.
And I don't think that they...
Caution's out.
Caution is out. I don't think that either one of them hit anything very hard.
Bound getting back into gear and back underway. Caution flag flying very close to the window in which they would have thrown the competition caution, the yellow flag to enable the trucks to refuel. We'll see if we can get another look at how this happened. Bound, of course, had just worked his way under Nemechek.
There we see they've already gone in the corner and made their contact and spun out, or I say they made their contact. It just looks that way, I'm assuming.
I don't think Joe touched that wall up there. So
I don't think either one of them hit anything.
Flat-spotted tires should be the extent of the damage here. And, of course, that's one of the rules in the truck series. You're given only 2 sets of tires. You change at the mid-race break unless you cut or flat-spot a tire, in which case you are allowed to make a change. And this will be the fuel stop. So the field will come onto pit road to top off the trucks. Jack Sprague will give up a 14.5-second lead. Oh, I'm sorry, a 4.5-second lead, which fulfills the worst fears of some people. We'll talk more about that, but first let's get down trackside to Bill Weber. Bill standing by for the fuel stops there. Ruttman was the first truck to come to a stop. Sprague a little further down. Bill Weber.
Okay, Dave, the LCI Ford of Joe Ruttman is here. They are fueling it. He's a little tight exit only, but they're not upset at all. No wedge adjustment at this point. So the 80 truck going to take fuel only, sitting on pit road now, waiting to make sure they top it off. Down pit road to Marty Reed.
Yeah, guys, with Ron Hornaday, they let some air out of the right side tires, and if you check out Jack Sprague's truck right behind, as Hornaday gets back out, they did the same thing, took a little pressure out and changed a little bit of the tape on the front end. Otherwise, no changes.
Jack Sprague loves mile racetracks, and as he alluded to, he hinted at in the pre-race interview, always seems to do well when he's sick. He's feeling a little under the weather yesterday when he went and won the pole, so he felt bad that he felt good this morning, and he woke up feeling much better.
And we saw one of the Roush crewmen put in some tape on the grill of the 80 truck, the LCI truck. That will help the pushing problem off the corner, a little more downforce, and help the truck handle a little bit better.
He's come from 16th to 2nd. They got a lot to be happy about. We be blimping here as the Craftsman Truck Series opens at Walt Disney World Speedway. The overhead shots coming from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. Captain Jim Maloney from Vienna, Virginia, is in the gondola there and helping our crew to provide the pictures as we come back to a green flag in the 1997 Series opener. Sprague, Rupp, and Hornaday, no change up front.
Checking the Bell South truck made a pit stop. I guess it's last part of the tires. When he spun there, he stopped, changed 4 tires, and did in fact lose a lap. But you can lose a lap on the competition yellows.
Here comes the lead trio, and they're hustling. Michael Waltrip in 4th spot. Truck number 1 reported a little loose before that stop. They tightened it up a bit. Same report on Sauter's number 3, which has now moved into 9th position. And we've got trouble for John Nemechek. He clouts the inside Armco and does substantial damage to the Cintas Chevy. So we'll immediately go back under yellow.
Yes, we did have a caution flag. I thought maybe that we would...
Peter, try to get a loud back.
Hard to make out the radio traffic there, but I wonder if that wasn't Joe trying to take advantage of John's misfortune there. This was a black flag penalty for the 99 of Bound, who is reported to have gained positions under the yellow, a violation of the rules. He'll go to the tail.
I would guess that the 8 truck made some contact with Lance Norrick in the 90, because if we keep this camera right there in just a moment, the 90 car's truck is going to go by dragging the rear tailgate. There he is.
Just trying to get us a better look at that sponsor logo. I think that is Lance Norrick, whose dad is the mayor of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Get all the details by dialing the number.
That's the only information you want to know about Lance Norrick right there.
You got it. Not serious damage. They're taking another look at how this developed.
No, I guess he was on the inside of Rick Crawford and just simply tried to come off the corner. And in the outside wall, he will come across. And I guess here's where he gets the, Lance Norrick gets the tailgate knocked off and some contact with the inside wall from John Nemechek.
There was a moment there when Big John thought he had her saved.
Oh!
That was not the moment.
that was definitely. There's John surveying the damage, trying to figure out if he can get back in the race.
Well, tough day for the Nemechek brothers. They bring out 2 consecutive yellows. We'll be right back.
Those amazing X Games are bound for the mountains. It's the Winter X Games, featuring snowboarding, downhill racing on mountain bikes, ice climbing, and shovel racing, starting January 30th on ESPN. Winter X, slightly cooler.
About had Benny convinced to do that sky surfing thing in the X Games. You got a favorite out of the winter games?
I'm not a winter person at all. Not at all. I don't like that snow and ice.
You're going to pass on shovel racing?
Yes, I am going to pass.
I had you pegged for that. I thought that'd be pretty cool watching you do that. Let's give a quick call to Boris Said. Boris qualified badly here. Had worked his way up to 21st spot. Spun under the previous caution, or just prior to the previous caution for Nemechek, and fell back to 26th spot. Boris has now come down pit road and has a little damage on the front of the truck, but he's going to try to salvage something out of that. That, of course, is Ernie Irvin's truck. He's the 3rd different guy to drive it in 3 years.
Ernie and Mark Simo are the owners of this truck. There's the driver, Boris Said.
Big, tall guy, goatee, beard, road racing star, adapting to the ovals. And he says, watch out. We get to Sears Point, Watkins Glen, I'm going to be a bad cat. Chuck Bound at the back after a stop-and-go penalty because he gained positions under yellow.
Well,
and we are still under caution.
Let's see if he did. Oh, this is on the green flag racing. When he spun, he and Joe Nemechek spun. Oh, yeah, just a little contact.
I'd say so. We didn't see that contact from the camera up high, but it was pretty evident right there. This is from Barfield's camera looking at the same thing.
Barfield just drove through the grass.
And did it with the gas on pretty hard.
Yes.
He made a nice evasive move there.
So the Chevy pace truck comes off the racetrack and says, okay, fellas, in just a couple of seconds, we're going to see some more of this action.
We've had no shortage of that today. The green is back in the air, and Sprague takes off at lap 53. Lap traffic down on the bottom. That's one of the concerns. Several of the crew chiefs and strategists theorized that the ability to get through that traffic on, of course, a long run of green flag racing may be one of the keys to victory in this race.
See Nemechek with those fresh tires go blowing by Michael Waltrip. Now there's 3 more trucks in front. If he can pass those and the caution, the halfway break come out, he'll be back in the lead lap. So the day is definitely not done for Joe Nemechek. Bell South truck.
28th spot and a lap down for Joe. John appears to be out of the race. That truck was badly damaged. Sprague leads Ruttman. And pulled out a 4-second lead over Ruttman. And Benny, here's a good side-by-side battle. Look at Resendiz going down to the inside on Dokken and taking 11th spot away. That's just outside the top 10.
And Brian Refner goes by Dokken as well. That's Refner in the 66, the red and white truck. Pirelli going by the 32 of Kenny Hendrick. And Nemechek gets by Hornaday. Just 2 more now to get by.
Always looks spectacular to run past the series champion, but again, the key to that is those tires that Joe picked up after the spin. Lewis in the thick of a battle. Man, I'll tell you, that was tight as he chopped across the bow of Resendiz. He's got number 65, Kenny Allen, in tow there as Bliss tries to work his way forward. He started 25th.
It's Mike Bliss on board with Mike.
Boy, he was frustrated yesterday after qualifying. That was a top 5 truck from the moment they took it off the trailer, and he qualified 25th. Battle for the lead. You still like Ruttman, Benny?
Joe Ruttman, since Friday, has been a man on a mission. Every time he goes on the racetrack, he went on the racetrack in practice, he looked like he was trying as hard as he possibly could. Looked like he was qualifying every lap. I asked Jack Roush this morning, what's got into Joe Ruttman? He just smiled.
Roush is, of course, the owner, and he likes Ruttman. There's a lot to like about Ruttman. He's a very personable guy. He's always got a moment for the fans, and he's always got something interesting to say. I asked him about those quick times he was turning in practice. He just laughed. He said, oh, that's those California clocks. Everybody knows they're quick.
You see right now that Ruttman's truck is just not exactly right. He pushed off turn 1, allowed Sprague to get a car length or 2 lead, or a truck or 2 lead. New sponsor for Ruttman this year, the LCI Communications Company. There you see how he goes up on the racetrack, truck pushing just a little bit. That allows Sprague to pull that half a car length ahead.
Sprague, meanwhile, having led all but 1 lap here today, is doing what many people expected and some people feared. There was a concern that old one-track Jack might adapt to this place very, very nicely and just blow this field away. He's shown the potential to do that, Benny. He marched off to a 4-second lead before that caution flag. He led all but 1 lap. He was definitely the man to be here today.
Well, the Sprague nickname right after one-track Jack was 1 Mile Jack. And again, this is a 1-mile racetrack. So Sprague just loves the super speedways that these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series run on.
I'll tell you what, with all the horsepower lined up behind Jack Sprague this year, we may be calling him champion before this deal is done. He and Hornaday certainly are the preseason favorites as we have mentioned. And just to update Hornaday's progress, or in this case lack of it, he has slipped back to third. Ruttman got by him a good while ago. Field working their way through.
There's the 18 truck with Dockett. It looks like something has happened to the truck. I saw him slow down the backstretch, and
he's back to 18th or to 16th spot. Marty may be able to tell us why.
Well, a couple of things. Take a look at the front end. He's got an aerodynamic problem, and they're saying that the truck is pushing badly. Then they let some air out of the tires during the break, and nothing's helped, and the thing is just a handful.
Looks like he's beat up. Let's see if we can figure out why that happened.
Oh, some contact between those two, and now they both go. Now he has more damage to the front.
Yeah. And almost a bunch to the back.
Dockett, turn one.
Dockett with the big loop. Will bring the yellow back out.
And Michael Walt's been spun down in turn 3. Now he's going again, but he had spun, was sitting in the middle of the racetrack. Doesn't look like any damage to the MW Windows Ford.
Simul spins at opposite ends of the speedway put us back under caution. And it has been an incident-marred event. None of them terrifically serious. Let's go back and recap the history of Michael Dockett here. Now, this is before the incident you just saw live, and this was moments before. And this is what Marty was reporting on. Close call and a bit of damage as a result of that.
That's Lonnie Rush in the 35, the ortho truck. Now, that's when I saw him slow on the racetrack. I thought he had a cylinder mission or something because he had slowed dramatically.
Dropped back to 18th. Marty Reed reported on what happened. Comes up alongside Boris Said and clunk. And around they both go.
He tried to save it, but they couldn't, and they spun.
It was that McDonald, I think, that shot the gap in the middle there.
0. There we see what the
Kirk on the bottom.
Joe goes by down pit road.
Dockett. We'll take one more look at how this happened. Now, the damage on the right front of the 44 set is from the earlier spin.
There's some contact, and they both spin. And there was Lance Norrick. You know, Paul Norrick has been in the middle of everything so far.
He's had a pretty good view of the action here today. And, of course, while this was all going on, that big cloud of smoke at the other end of the speedway resulted from this spin by Michael Walter.
There we see the 17 Rich Bickle. And look at this Hornaday that goes around. The defending champion. That's where all the smoke came from. And poor Michael goes in there with nowhere to go. What's going on? He don't know what's going on. So he spins somewhere in there.
Hornaday, the victim of a turn 3 loop here. And that will drop him from third spot. I never did see Michael Walter.
I never did either. What's the mystery?
The mystery spin. We had enough spins, Benny, in that 10 seconds.
Okay.
Never mind about Michael Walter.
Okay.
Dockett is in for repairs. The champ has looped and is out of the top 5. We'll be back. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for 1997 opening here at Walt Disney World Speedway. And my assessment, Benny, having seen less than half a race here thus far, is that this place generates a great deal of action and excitement.
Wow, this has been exciting so far.
Big crowd on hand, as you see, and they braved some cold temperatures. It was down near the freezing mark here this morning. Much nicer, I'm sure, out in Tucson, Arizona, where the Winston West drivers are assembled for their season opener. Bob Jenkins, I'll bet Bob's still watching us here. It's just about time for you to go to work, Jenkins. 3 p.m. Eastern time over on the Deuce. Winter heat. Benny Parsons didn't get much of a winter off because he's been working every weekend. But now, Benny, you really get the sense that the big league season has kicked off. We're heading for Daytona. This is serious stuff now.
The season has started. And Gary Collins from Bakersfield, Marion's son, the promoter up at Mesa Marin, is on the pole for the Winston West race that will take place at 3 o'clock this afternoon, ESPN2. It's been so exciting out there.
The split screen going. I got a little debris on the racetrack. That is why we are still under yellow. The track otherwise ready to run on. I don't think that was bound. Just missed the debris here. Chris Morgan, the flagman, has the yellow in hand.
Hey, I think the mystery has been solved. I've been told in my ear that the mystery has been solved. Upper right, let's see. There we see Bickle come through the corner, and there's Michael backing around. He did, in fact, spin up, folks. See, I wasn't imagining things.
He didn't imagine that. He got into oil, we were being told. Hornaday had spun in front of him. He couldn't see the oil from the smoke. So 4 trucks did indeed spin in the span of about 4 seconds there, and it has rearranged the lineup only a little bit because Waltrip comes out of this in 6th spot and Hornaday in 9th. They didn't lose a whole lot of position because the yellow was in the process of coming out. We'll be right back. Racing is just one of the things they do at this 30,000-acre complex known as Walt Disney World. They also play golf here. In fact, there are 99 holes of golf on 6 courses, and one of them is Lake Buena Vista. And as the crow flies, it's a little over 3 miles from here, and the reason you care about this is because right after the race, we're going to head over there on ESPN and bring you the LPGA Tour action, the Health South inaugural from Walt Disney World. So ESPN's all over this joint today.
I'm telling you, Benny. I didn't get to read this morning's paper. Maybe later on we can put a graphic up that tells who's leading over at the... did I see Nancy Lopez was racing?
You're into that
racing, golfing over there?
Golf stuff, aren't you? You're a serious golfer. Right now we are under a serious and extended yellow. They are spreading the speedy dry through turn 2, and if we put 2 and 2 together, we might wonder if that might have not have contributed to all the excitement that we saw up there a few minutes ago.
Now the next mystery is whose oil was it? Yeah, here's the field summary, and you can take a look in parentheses on the right side of the driver's name is where they started. Look at Rutland. Started 16th, is currently up to 2nd. Bickle started 12th. So the front row, Sprague is still there, but you see Michael Walt, the outside poles hitters, moved back to 6th spot.
Pirelli's certainly going forward, as is Sauter. Bliss has improved a lot of spots. We've got some pretty good charges going here today. You've either got it figured out or you don't. As we move further back in the field and pick up some of the tough luck stories of the day, Joe Nemechek had challenged for the lead before he was involved in an incident that left him spinning, and he is now a lap down. Take a look at the end of the field. I'll tell you a quick story before we get back to green here. One of the guys who didn't make the show is Darren Brassfield. He drives for Bricks Racing. Harry Bricks is very serious about his sports car racing, his IndyCar racing, and now about truck racing. They got the deal put together very late. They came here with no testing, still putting paint on the truck. Didn't make the show. So what does Harry do? They loaded the truck up. He got on the phone. He rented Lakeland Speedway yesterday afternoon and went and tested. They went straight from qualifying to Lakeland, and Harry said, I missed it today. We're not going to miss it again. That man is dedicated to putting Darren Brassfield in there. Tested yesterday afternoon. Wow.
Trucks are lining up for a restart. Nemechek on the inside, trying to get that lap back. Got a good shot, and he has fresher tires than does Sprague. And Sprague wisely decides to let it go.
So Joe's back on the lead lap and looking for a car. Sprague got a pretty good jump there on Rutland.
If he can stay there, there's going to be a car flag at lap 100 because these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series have a break, a 5-minute break at halfway.
The next truck in line, the green, is Kelly Denton. Remember that he'd been on 7 cylinders earlier, but they've got it fixed now. Denton, for the record, is now 7 laps down, so they did not get it fixed quickly. Rich Bickle is the next truck in position. He is 3rd. That's the number 17,
And Rutland is able to stay with Jack Sprague for a few laps. And then, as the tires warm up, his truck will start to push, and Sprague, Bliss and Hornaday, and Hornaday drops another spot back, and here comes Resendez with white number 7. Hornaday, the 16.
8th, 9th, and 10th positions involved there. We're on board now with Mike Bliss, the Team ASA and Ultra Wheels Ford, owned by Jimmy Smith.
And Brian Refner pulls up on the inside of Hornaday, so Hornaday losing positions rapidly.
Got a frustrating start here.
There's Jimmy Hensley going by.
Something wrong there for sure. Next in line will be Barfield, 94. There's a new crew chief on that number 16 truck. John Monson has come on board. Way loose goes Hornaday. He's got a big problem.
He does have a huge problem, and here comes Rick Crawford going by. Circle Bar truck stop out in Ozona, Texas. The owner of that 14 truck. Been around with Rick Crawford for many, many years. Ernest Martin, the 13, the Visa truck.
Big trouble for the reigning series champion, number 16, Ron Hornaday, who qualified well, but now is going backwards, inbound, moving up and getting around Markham. Let's see if Marty can tell us what's going on with the champ.
Well, guys, they are getting ready to bring him in if they have to. He is reporting that he thinks the right rear is going down, and the crew's been getting ready. There, you can see the tire changes and putting pressure and checking that. So we'll keep you posted if he comes down pit lane.
Saw Markham go high, go low. I think part of that was looking to get around Hornaday, and the other half was hoping that he could duck if something went wrong. That Hornaday truck turned around. You saw the pit crew waiting. The series champion, Ron Hornaday, has slipped all the way to 14th position and will lose more as he's headed for pit road shortly.
Now there's another position going by the wayside as Butch Miller in the 20 truck pulls alongside. This is Walter Evans' truck. Walker has decided not to drive this year, turned the driving over to Butch Miller. And they've also switched from the Dodges to Fords. And there's Tony Roper in the 31. That's Bob Breback's truck.
That ought to be a good marriage. Right behind him is a kid that deserves a call here for sure. Toby Porter qualified 4th fastest in the number 10 on his first of 2 laps yesterday, and then tried to knock down the wall on the second lap. He had to start at the back of the field. Whoa, swap in second spot. Bickle gets around Ruttman. Number 17 has come to life. Rich Bickle with Darrell Waltrip on the radio takes a spot away, and that will drop Ruttman back to 3rd. To finish that Porter story, the kid started in the back row. He has come to 19th spot, and that young graduate of the All-Pro ranks. A lot of people aren't going to notice him today, Benny, but he's making a big stride for truck stardom here. That was quite a performance.
And he says, get well, Leroy. That's Leroy Waltrip. Michael and Darrell's father back in Owensboro had some surgery, and Leroy, we echo that statement. That get well soon. There's Rick
Corelli moving around. Let me add also a quick get well to Lou Naylor up in Baltimore, who had hip replacement surgery. Lou, your kid's doing a great job at bringing the onboard camera pictures your way today.
Leroy's not liking this because his baby boy Michael losing some spots. As Resendez goes by on the outside, Mike Bliss pulls up on the back bumper of Michael Walker's truck.
Bliss gets credit for having brought us the most spectacular onboard pictures in the history of our coverage of the Truck Series. That last year from Richmond, we got that truck up on its side.
And Resendez goes by Sauter and Michael Waltrip down there trying to do the same thing. Leroy likes that.
6th, 7th, 8th position definitely up for grabs at the moment with some good side-by-side racing. Funny how much room they find between qualifying and the race, Benny. You ask them on Saturday, oh, it's narrow, there's no place to pass. Middle of Sunday afternoon, they're out there side-by-side and beating on each other.
Tony Roper has made a stop on pit road. Or is stopping on pit road, I should say, as Jimmy Hensley in the Cummins Dodge pick up the red and white one, closes in on the back bumper of the 3 of Jay Sauter. See, Bliss has been able to get by. Mike Bliss is in front of Sauter. So Jay Sauter now losing spots. He's back to 9th.
The Dodge folks have not won in NASCAR racing since '77 with Neil Bonnet. They're offering a brand new $40,000 pickup to the first Dodge driver who's come up with a victory in the series. Walter right on Hensley's rear deck. Half a lap behind the leader, as you can see. There's old Jack Sprague jumping down the backstretch all by himself. He's led all but 1 lap here today. Back live in Orlando, we have a new leader, Rich Bickle, and Darrell Waltrip's number 17 Die-Hard Chevy has just marched past Jack Sprague to take the lead, and now Joe Ruttman joins the fray to make that a 3-driver battle. Let's take a look, first of all, at how the pass for the lead occurred, Benny.
Coming off turn 2, we see Sprague go up the racetrack. Bickle keeps that thing right on the bottom, gets position when he got to turn 2, the kink in the backstretch. Jack Sprague says, go ahead, be a hero, and he was. Took the lead, did Bickle, and has led it for a couple of laps now.
As Ruttman came up to join that battle, moments thereafter, they lapped the series champ, Ron Hornaday. There's a look at Hornaday right in front as he has an apparent tire problem. That was the indication of concern. Look how out of shape Hornaday got as the leaders came by. He is really struggling.
Oh, here we go. Sprague was back in front. Now, this is live action. Sprague had retaken the lead, but guess what? He's about to lose her again. Oh, I might have spoke too soon.
Pretty good side-by-side battle right there. This is for the lead on lap 87, approaching the midway break. At 100 laps, the yellow will fly for a 5-minute recess to refuel the truck, adjust chassis, change tires, and gear up for another 100-mile shootout. You can't get much better than this. Jack Sprague, who had led all but one lap prior to the arrival of Bickle on the scene, suddenly has his hands very, very full. In the middle of that pack, Chuck Bound nearly looped it, saved it. They continue, and the leaders are still side by side.
Folks, if you were here watching this race, you'd have a problem because you don't know which corner to watch. We can only watch one corner at a time, so you have no problem. But the fans are trying to figure out where's the next action.
3 times last year in a different truck, Rich Bickle led the show. This is the first time in 19 races that he has been out front, and it is in a different truck. His owner, Darrell Waltrip, is here, and I would suspect probably smiling big time.
And there goes Bickle again. There we see Darrell Waltrip. Look at him. Yeah, go for it.
Big smile? Big smile? No.
Concern.
Yeah. He doesn't know we're watching him.
Oh, Kelly Denton. Kelly Denton got the truck sideways as he was trying to get by Joe Ruttman, and I thought Michael had some contact with Ruttman. Did not happen.
Leroy, I'm glad it's not your heart that's giving you trouble, because this would be no help today. Watching Bickle in a great battle with Sprague. They are at it. Ruttman may take an opportunity here if these guys get up there and get to beating on each other. He has not led as yet, though he has been close. Meanwhile, they lost, what, 3-4 truck lengths?
Yeah. Joe Nemechek, once again, was a lap down in the Bell South truck. He has passed these guys and is now Bush Miller going by Jay Sauter. That's Bush in the white number 20. That's battle for 7th spot.
They're going to catch up here with Michael Walters, who is 6th, and Butch, who's had a real roller coaster ride, goes zipping by to take that position away from Waltrip and move inside the top half-dozen trucks here. Butch didn't qualify all that well, then went out in the final practice section. The oil pump locked up and put him into the wall. They were able to fix the truck. They do not have a backup, and he has now marched into 6th position. Good run today for Butch. This is for 2nd spot now as Bickle manages to stabilize that interval at about 5 truck lengths, and Jack Sprague starts racing in his mirror. Ruttman is there.
And Jack Sprague, the driver's meeting this morning, was concerned about tire wear. He said that his tires were wearing on the right side. Some concern. So maybe Sprague had just simply backed off and trying to see what the wear is going to be like at the halfway break. Something that our guys are going to check and see if there is a problem with wear on the 24. The other guys said they have not seen a problem.
In that Ford versus Chevy battle, Joe Ruttman just marches by Jack Sprague, who has definitely slipped off the pace.
Yeah, and it looked like Kelly Dent was going by.
Oh, big crash for Michael Waltrip. He clouched the inside wall along the front straightaway, hitting pretty hard with the left front. For the 2nd time today, Waltrip involved.
But he started with the right front. He made some serious damage. Contact with the outside. Looks like the right front tire might have gone away and hit the outside wall, and then the truck came down and hit the inside wall, and we see it has knocked an oil line or a fuel line off, a little fire under there. We just hope that we'll see Michael crawling out, but very slowly, yes.
Well, another mixed bag for the brothers here, because as Bickle leads driving Darrell's truck, Michael is out after a pretty good-sized wreck there. Let's see how this happened.
Goes down the corner. We see the right front just go away and in the wall. Yeah,
man, hit hard.
Oh no, folks, you can't imagine. And almost got clobbered from behind as Barfield goes by, and another solid blow on the inside wall. So
hit hard enough to put fire out. That's a pretty good look. He's run one other truck race, that a 4th place finish at Vegas. Take a look at this hit.
Brutal hit. Straight in the wall.
It is an ugly angle of attack. But Michael appeared to be okay. Climbed out under his own power, a little shaken.
And no air in his body. When you hit a wall like that, you just lose all the air inside. And there we see Darrell Waltrip walk down and said, "You doing all right, bud?" And
Darrell tells a heart-rending story of the incredible wreck at Bristol when Michael hit the wall so hard and said, looked down in that cockpit knowing what he was going to see, and little brother looked up and said, "Hi, Darrell." He's okay again today. The crew a little unhappy. A lot of damage to fix there. We'll take a break and be back with more. The Contemporary Hotel, one of 16 resorts here at Walt Disney World. The backdrop is quite a looking building right there. 16 resorts, 3 water parks, 3 theme parks, 6 golf courses. There's a whole lot to do here. And now, in 1997, home base for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series opener, where Rich Bickle has taken the lead from Joe Ruttman. Jack Sprague, perhaps anticipating correctly the potential for tire fade, slips back to third, would take you back through the top 10, and we're happy to report that Michael Waltrip is apparently okay. He did get into the ambulance. They're going to take him over for what appears to be a precautionary check, just 4 laps away from the halftime break. Everybody who comes to Walt Disney World has a lot of fun, including the race car drivers.
Hornaday's the traffic jam.
Read the sign.
Do not strike. Yeah, right.
How'd you like to be that poor innocent guy who just came out here to take the little ride, didn't know these guys were showing up? Hey, give me another shot at him.
Ty Norris giving them the checkered flag.
We won again.
Happier day for Ron Hornaday on, that was actually on Friday, or actually on Thursday, I guess. Things have gone downhill since then. He has developed an apparent tire problem that has dropped him a lap down here. He's now 23rd on the field. He held on, hoping that he could at least stay on the same lap until the halftime break. Failed to do that. And now, as we're just a couple of laps away from that break, the defending series champion does not have a big smile on his face.
Joe Nemechek, as we have chronicled, is now on the lead lap. He had passed those fellows when Michael Waltrip had his problem. The caution came out. He was able to go to the back of the field. Now, tail end, he's now in 19th spot. And we're going green for just a couple of laps, and then we'll stop for the midway point, because they need to get to the midway to see who's going to win the Gatorade money for leading at halfway. Now, restart lap 99. Halfway through.
Great jump for Bickle. Ruttman, not the master of the restarts here today. Sprague slipping back to third, is definitely looking forward to that halftime to replenish the number 24. This is a mighty scout truck early. He led this thing by 4.5 seconds. That's all gone away now.
And we see that Sprague is struggling to finish his 100 laps.
Once again, that other green truck back there with Sprague is Denton, although he is 7 laps down. They've now fixed that truck. He's running at the same speed of the leaders, putting in an impressive drive here today. Ruttman can't maintain the pace of Bickle as they approach halfway.
They're now giving the signal halfway. Give the signal halfway, so the next time by they will, in fact, show the red flag, and the trucks will go, and they'll have a 5-minute break to fix their problems. And I know that Joe Ruttman and Jack Sprague are really looking forward, and Ron Hornaday looking forward to this break. You know, Ron Hornaday has lost a lap in his first 100. That's something he didn't do all last year. He did lose 2 laps in 1996 during when he had a flat tire.
That was at North Wilkesboro, and it was the only glitch in the run to the championship. The yellow is out. We are in the mid-race break. We will take a quick commercial break, come back, and put Marty and Bill to work down on pit road. Stay with us. 101 laps complete, 99 miles from the finish. The trucks are on pit road. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And Rich Bickle sits in his truck. A great start to the season for you, a great race so far.
You know, Darrell Waltrip had a lot of faith in me, you know, this year's Die Hard Battery Chevrolet. we didn't have a good qualifying run. We had a good race set up, but we didn't qualify that well. But this thing come to the front towards the end. The tires stayed underneath it, and I got to thank the guys back at the shop. They did a great job, and so far so good. But we got 100 miles to go, and that's what it's all about.
Changes.
Right now, the truck's been tight the whole weekend. And we made a little air adjustment. I think we're going to leave the truck just the way it is right now and take this Chevrolet all the way home.
To Marty Reed.
We're up here with the man who was running up front for a long time, but Jack, I got an inkling that you had some tire problems.
I couldn't hear you.
Did you have some tire problems there? Is that why you started to fall back, that right front going away?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's down past the cords. For some reason, they don't want to give us any more tires, but everybody's in the same boat. We just can't keep ours on the right front. Maybe I ran a little bit too hard at the beginning, but Quaker State Chevrolet's running awful good. I'm going to see if I can save it a little bit this time and win this thing.
Sprague's going to be pacing. What's Joe Ruttman going to do, Billy?
Right now, he's going to have a drink of water, then he's going to talk to Jack Roush, but first we're going to talk to him. Benny Parsons says you're a man on a mission this year, and so far, so good.
Well, yeah, we're trying to hit the combination on it here, and we're a little bit tight and then a little bit loose, and we're making just some fine adjustments. We feel we're pretty close. The tire wear is probably the biggest thing we're concerned about at this point. But Mom, I'm going to call you with LCI. I can afford it now. Okay.
Okay, that's Joe Ruttman at halfway. Marty Reed.
Hey, of the 10 rookies, the guy who's doing the best is Kenny Irwin. Kenny, take us through it.
We're just way too tight after the yellow flags. After we get about 15 laps into it, the truck works great. So we're going to work on that, and if we can get that, I think we can run with them.
So you like the longer runs then?
Yeah, right now we're a lot better the longer we run. Truck just pushes terrible right off the yellow flag.
I got to tell you guys, there's not a scratch on the left side of the truck. I don't know what it looks like on the right side. Hey, Billy, you at the number 3 now?
Sure am, Marty. He does have some damage on the left rear quarter panel. Jay Sauter getting a drink, sitting here in the 3 truck. Jay, good run for you so far. Your qualifying wasn't what you were looking for, but you're trying to carve your way up to the front.
Yeah, qualifying wasn't what we wanted, but I'll tell you, this Goodwrench Chevrolet team is awesome. We're just going to keep digging, and I think we got a shot at winning this thing.
What changes do you have to make here, Jay?
You just need to tighten it up a little bit. We were way too loose, and guys are doing a little air pressure, and we should be in good shape.
Okay, Marty with Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, and actually, John Monson is talking to Ron right now. We're going to see if we can poke our head in here real quick. Thanks, John. Ron, what's going on out there? The right rear going down on you?
No, I just tried to race underneath Bickle there, and I got into that oil, spun out, and when I, spun out, I just flat spotted the tires and just to the cords. We can't say hardly anything. It's just one of them deals I got underneath and I spun out.
As far as the rest of that run, though, I mean, it was quite spectacular watching you through turns 1, 2, and 3. I mean, you were holding on for dear life.
Well, we got a great truck. I mean, it's just one of them deals I spun out. Michael Waltrip spun out the same oil. So that spin, just flat spotted tires. There's nothing else I could do. If it had an inner tube, it'd be on the inner tube. But Goodyear came with the tires, got enough cords underneath it where it stayed together so I can make the first 100. We're only 1 lap down. We can get it back. We take this Napa Chevrolet and see what we can do.
Yeah, this should be fun, guys. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, the consistent theme on pit road is the story of tires. In Hornaday's case, flat-spotted tires. The rest of the guys, how long will they last? Big crowd in Orlando. Came to watch the trucks run. We'll be back and restart shortly. At the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series opener, Walt Disney World Speedway, the Chevy Trucks Challenge. The crews never stop digging. They're working on Michael Waltrip's truck. Meanwhile, our ESPN telecast crew never stops digging either, as Michael has just come out of the medical center. We have found one more look at the incident that A, damaged the truck, and B, sent him to the medical center. First, let's go back and take a look at how this happened. Something letting go in the truck and then almost head on into the outside wall. Fire back to the inside to hit the wall again. Ron Barfield managed to dodge all that, and there you see the battered remains of the truck. Now that was, what, 15 minutes ago. Now here's what you have not seen.
On board with Ron Barfield, the Super 8. Oh, man.
Barfield dodged a disaster. Let's go down to Marty Reed.
You want to take a look at what Ron Hornaday was trying to deal with? Take a look at this right rear tire. That's why he was hanging on for dear life. Bill, what do you got?
I got Barry Dotson, who's crew chief for Mike Bliss. You've got your right side tires here. You're happy with your tire wear.
Yeah, we have to be. This track's tire management, you stay on the right sides a lot of times. You can see right here, the right rear looks good. All the wear pins are there except a couple. And the right front looks even better. I think that's what Michael had a problem with. But we were happy. We made it a priority to look at our right sides when they got in here. We wanted to see what they looked like first to decide on what changes to make. So we told Mike to take care of them the first half. Let's see what we had left, then we'll try to go after them.
Okay, Mike's had a great weekend here, except for 58 seconds. Those were his 2 qualifying laps to put him deep in the field. Now he's 8th, back upstairs.
Tire management. I think, Benny, that we had anticipated that perhaps traffic management was going to be the key, but I think that's changed, hasn't
Yes, it has. Definitely has changed, Dave.
We're going to take a break and come back to light them up and let them go in Orlando. The green has just gone back in the air. Rich Bickle leads Joe Rudman as we start the second leg, the second 99 laps, 99 miles to decide the championship here in the Truck Challenge.
And once again, Rudman, as he came off turn 2, pushed up the racetrack, not able to make that run, but he's on the inside now and making a run for the lead.
Rudman by on the inside, puts a Ford out front for the first time today. Meanwhile, Sprague moves up to attack the left rear of Bickle, and he's into second spot. Bickle, who led the last 15 laps of the first leg, quickly goes back to third. Well, a big shuffle of positions in the first couple of laps after the halftime break. Obviously, Rudman's bunch did good work down there with Roush Racing. And Sprague, well, said he might take it easy and save the tires. So much for that theory.
Well, he might take it easy. He may be running easier than he was the first half of the race. And Joe Rudman, the real key is what's going to happen in a few laps. He was able to run for 4 or 5 laps before, but after that, his truck started drifting back. We'll see what happens. Mike Bliss on the inside of Kenny Hendrick. And there's the 3 of Jay Sauter.
Hendrick is a lap down as Bliss moves under him. He doesn't want to let that black 3, the truck that won the inaugural championship with Skinner, get away. Sprague is around Rudman to take over the lead.
Now we'll see who's going to take it. And here comes Dave Resendez, the 7 truck. Has marched all the way up to 4th spot. Resendez starting at 20.
Bliss is into the wall.
I got hit by Kenny Irwin.
Ooh.
Caution flag is out.
3 truck did it, Mike.
Some debate between crew chief Dodson and driver Bliss about who hit whom.
Who made the contact, and there we see Bliss driving away in the Team ASC.
How bad is it? Back to the left side, the left quarter panel's pushed up pretty good. Spoiler's pushed all the way up.
That's Eddie Threpp telling Barry Dodson what kind of problem he has.
Mike thought it was his old open-wheel rival Kenny Irwin Jr. that made the contact. Dodson said, if I understood correctly, the 3 truck.
That's what I thought they said. Let's see if we can tell exactly what might have happened. There we see Kenny Irwin on the inside of Bliss. And yes, it is, in fact, the 3 truck that goes up the racetrack, Jay Sauter, and gets in the left rear of Mike Bliss. And pretty good contact. These replays are in slow motion, so you're not able to see the force that these trucks hit the wall as you would if they would speed the film up, the tape up.
Easy to see there why he might have thought that it was Irvin. Irvin was up alongside him, and of course they raced wheel to wheel in the open wheel ranks for years, back chasing the USAC championships.
There's some discussion between these 2 drivers as to which goes in front of the other, and they're going to have to let NASCAR solve that one.
Those drivers being number 94 Ron Barfield in the Ford and number 3 Jay Sauter in the Chevy. In this incident, Ford prevails. The green has just gone in the air. Ron Hornaday, first truck on the lead left, jumps in front of the race leader Jack Sprague, and that's the battle as they head for turn 3. Hornaday trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Sprague trying to put him a lap down. Rudman back there, taking a look at the Chevys up front.
Hornaday still, the truck is loose. Came off turn 4. Back in wiggle, then Sprague couldn't look. And Hornaday moved down the block then, but the back end is pretty happy on that 16 truck. And look at Rudman.
I'll tell you what, Hornaday's doing everything he can to keep those boys behind him. Now Sprague gets down along the inside. Nope, nothing there yet. Sprague, the race leader. You heard Jack say at the break that he would try to conserve the tires in the second half, that cost him the lead. All of his race wins last year on the big tracks. He is challenging Hornaday.
Wow. He just said, move over, Ron. I am coming through. But Hornaday's going to try to come back, a la Earnhardt.
It's not there this time. Ruttman sitting back there looking this over, contemplating his own strategy. Don't contemplate too hard, Joe, because Bickle will be there to make up your mind for you. Bickle is third. Let's finish the Michael Waltrip story as we go to Bill Weber.
And first of all, you're all right.
Yeah, I'm fine. I certainly feel like I've hit something pretty hard, and looking at the truck, that's the case, but we'll be okay.
Any idea what happened?
I know exactly what happened. It was dumb on my part. When I spun out, it flat spotted a tire, and I felt it shaking. I should have pitted, and I didn't, which was stupid, but I guess not knowing the rules, I didn't know how many laps they'd put me behind or whatever for changing tires, and I stayed out, and probably cost us about 50 grand, but learned a valuable lesson, as they say.
Okay, Leroy, your boy's okay.
Michael Waltrip crashing out of the race. Consider that Ron Hornaday had exactly the same problem, did elect to stay out.
But look at Bickle. The leader at the halfway is dropping back. Butch Miller, the 20 truck, just has gone by and moved into the 5th spot. Put Bickle back to about 5th or 6th.
Bickle said the truck was tight, but that they were going to leave it that way. And apparently that was not the correct decision. Hornaday, determined to get that lap back, continues to harass the race leader, Sprague. Ruttman looking on. Resendiz coming on. Dave Resendiz was, I believe, 7th at the break. He's moved to 3rd now. So the big question, can Hornaday get that lap back? Boy, he was so frustrated to have to sit back there and watch those positions go by, follow a lap down. That is a pass for 10th spot as Corelli is on the move. Rick Corelli moving inside the top 10, the High Plains Drifter in the chest round Ford.
And we see Chuck Bound. There we see the battle for, well, that's not a battle for anything because Hornaday now is falling back. Sprague has gotten away from him, and now the 2nd and 3rd place trucks have gone by. That's Resendiz in the white number 7, Joe Ruttman, the LCI truck, number 80, and Butch Miller in the white number 20. There's the leader, the green Quaker State truck of Sprague.
Mr. Chesrown is a Chevrolet dealer in Denver. I probably ought to put Corelli back in a Chevrolet. The story is Bickle as he struggles here, and Butch Miller, who's up and down weekend, is on an up right now as he's heading for the front. Let's get more on that from Bill Weber.
Dave, the crew's really happy with how the truck's running. I said, is it loose? No. Is it tight? No. They say they're really content, and I think that's because this race will be decided at lap 200. And tires down the stretch, a critical factor. Richie's saving his now, so he's got him later.
Bickle going in front of Hornaday, and now Jimmy Hensley is there in the 43. Defending series champion with the model of consistency in 1996. The 97 campaign is off to a very rocky start.
And by the way, we've said John Monson is now the crew chief on the 16, the Napa Chevrolet. That is, in fact, the truth. But Doug Williams is still there. It's not like that Doug was fired. He has just decided to stay home some weekends. Oh, they're 3 and red. I know that ain't work.
Yeah, and Hensley knew that quicker than anybody else and backed off. And Hornaday said, I'm not going to give up another position to this kid, Irwin. And so he darts in front of the number 98. Keep himself in the range of hope, I guess, of getting that lap back. Although right now the prospects of doing that are looking pretty frustrated. The lead 3 march up the front straightaway.
And look at Resendiz. Dave Resendiz, that white number 7, is coming.
This is the other side, of course, of the Tammy Jo Kirk story. If you've just joined us, the first woman driver in the history of the series had bad luck early, clobbered the wall. But now her teammate Resendiz is inside the top 3 and working on Joe Ruttman. We'll take a break and come back to more of this Chevy Ford battle. We're back in Orlando. You're on board the blimp. You may notice the white truck is out front. Our thanks to the Goodyear blimp, giving us the nice shot of the new race leader, Dave Resendiz, in front of the number 24 of Jack Sprague. As the Stars and Stripes look on from overhead, Resendiz is just having a terrific run here in the second half, Benny.
And he's being challenged for the lead down the front stretch and give it back to Sprague.
Sprague's strategy to conserve tires has certainly, well, at least it's not apparent here. And the guys who have caused the difficulty for him, first Hornaday trying to get his lap back, now Resendiz, who wants to win the race, and for the second year in a row, kick off his campaign with a victory. He won last year at Homestead for the season opener.
Resendiz much love these Florida tracks. Now as they come down the home stretch, once again, Resendiz is running a completely different line down in 1 and 2 than is Sprague, and it seems to really be working for them.
We mentioned it's a Chevy Ford battle. The Chevy in front of the 2 Fords at the moment. Add to Resendiz's credentials 2 more wins last year, Nashville and Sears Point. Ruttman now sitting in the 3rd spot as the lead trio continue to try to pull away. Butch Miller sitting in the 4th position. Then comes Bickle in 5th. Hornaday is a lap down as a result of his tire troubles earlier in the race. 6th is Jimmy Hensley at 43. That's your top half dozen trucks. I think that's Kenny Irwin Jr. probably back there in 7th spot. Hornaday had a shot at him, Benny. Couldn't hang on to the tail end of the lead lap.
Well, he had his opportunity. He just could not. Truck was not exactly right. They did not take advantage of it.
What do you think about Sprague? Is he using up the tires as fast in the second half as he was in the first half? Well, theorize or speculate on that?
Evidently, it isn't. He feels like he is not using the tires up, or he would be slowing down. So
the key is to
right now we're having some trouble with scoring in time, so that's one reason that we're going to take you back with the camera through the field and show you where your favorite truck driver may be running. Once again, this is on board with Jimmy Hensley. This is Richard Petty's Cummins Dodge truck. First race for Hensley in this vehicle.
Good matchup, I think, there. I just get the sense that Richard Petty and Jimmy Hensley are going to be a pretty good marriage. I'm certainly pumped up about the opportunity to drive for the team.
The next truck behind them will be Rick Corelli in the Remax.
Chevy. Out of 4. And it's a gap back to Corelli. He is trying to run Hensley down, but it's a fair interval. I'd make it half a second. Back to the 7th place truck of Corelli.
There we see Hornaday trying to get by Rich Bickle, and looks like he's going to be able to do it. So Bickle's diehard truck, evidently, the tires they changed not compatible to the truck, the springs and shocks, and he was struggling.
Well, he said the tires stayed under it for the first half, and he was pretty excited about that. Now we go further back and pick up.
We saw Rick Sauter go by. There's Kenny Irwin. There's the 32 of Kenny Hendrick, the Ultra Shield truck.
That was a lap down, I think. So that Revner should be at the tail end of the top 10. And then, of course, Nemechek, who lost a lap early because of a spin.
Nemechek in the 87, and he and Revner almost make contact. I don't know how these guys figure out when to back off and when to turn.
Well, I would speculate that you back off right after you make contact, just based on what we saw there.
And there we see Chuck Dowden in 99. There's Ron Barfield in 94. This is Bill Elliott's truck. This year sponsored by the Super 8 motel chain.
The bound was allowed to do it, didn't he? I believe he did. I don't think he ever got that back. So he should be outside of the top 10, and Barfield probably 11. Riding with Barfield, watching the trucks in front, scrambling for positions at the tail end of the top 10. We mentioned the cold weather. These trucks have tested and practiced here all weekend in temperatures that overnight were hovering down at the freezing mark. And yesterday it didn't get out of the 40s. A lot of Winston Cup personalities here. There is Barfield's owner, Bill Elliott, looking on and anticipating Daytona. The point I was going to make is that it finally is beginning to warm up a little bit here, and that could affect the handling of the trucks a little bit as we get up into the 60s. We'll be right back. In the Chevy Trucks Challenge at Orlando, bad has gotten worse. Ron Hornaday has hit the wall, climbed out of the truck, and then in obvious pain falls to the ground, and the medical personnel are moving to the scene. This happening just moments ago before we came out of the commercial. Let's take a look at what happened at number 16.
That's Toby Butler in the 34 truck, and they're going in the corner 3 abreast. And he makes contact. Horner goes up and slams the wall with the right side.
He comes back down. He hit it hard, and you'll see when he climbs out of the truck that he is in extreme pain.
We see him taking the belts off. Let's look at one more angle. We're going to see that Hornaday is going in the corner 3 abreast. And, you know, it's a struggle for 2. And in the wall awfully hard.
Hitting full flush on the passenger side, then back down into the infield. Hornaday being tended to by the medical crew. He's hustling to get out of that thing, getting the belts loose and so forth. But boy, once he came out of the window net, he hit the deck in a hurry, and he was holding his side like he might have taken a whack to the ribs.
I mean, it looks like Hornaday is up.
He's
now.
up. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, was it 44 races in a row without failing to finish? Hornaday's string is broken here. The man who won the championship for Dale Earnhardt and Teresa Earnhardt in 1996 is off to a very rocky start in 97. He's walking away. We'll take a break and come back with more from Orlando. Across the way from Walt Disney World Speedway, the LPGA tournament is underway, the Health South inaugural. Going in today, Kari Webb and Michelle McGann were tied. That has changed rather dramatically, actually. Michelle has lost 3 strokes here to Kari, who continues to lead 6 under, final round play. And we will be going from here to there immediately after the conclusion of the race. LPGA Golf is next on ESPN right here in the Magic Kingdom. Let's take a look at your entire field. Scoring is now functional again, so this should be accurate. Bound and Nemechek are indeed on the lead lap. And as you take a look, you'll note starting positions on the right. So impressive runs for both Ruttman and Resendiz, who have come from the pack to challenge the pole sitter Sprague. Sprague led over half the laps in each of the last 2 races of last year, won them both, Phoenix and Las Vegas. Again, I'm very impressed with Toby Porter and the job he's done. Qualified 4th, crashed in qualifying, started from the back, and has come back to 18th spot. Tough luck for a lot of drivers here today, including most recently the reigning series champ Ron Hornaday, who crashed after going 3 wide in turn 3, and Bill Weber has the latest on that story.
Well, Ron's in the medical center right now. I just talked to his new crew chief, John Munson. He says Ron feels okay, suspects he may have a broken or fractured rib. They're going to check that out. Said there was some confusion in traffic about a truck that apparently waved that it was going to pit, but then did not. And the last thing Ron said to John was, go fix that truck because we're not done racing today.
Hornaday, of course, thinking in terms of points and the championship. He's fortunate that he'll have until the first weekend in March to heal up. That is the next race for the Truck Series. It'll be on ESPN in Tucson. Chris Morgan throws the green. We're back at it on lap 142.
And we see that Joe Ruttman is back in 2nd spot. It's taking that spot away from Resendiz.
Resendiz in the white 7 who led the race for the Jeff Bodine team. Now deployed in 3rd as Sprague continues to be the dominant truck in terms of laps led. He's been passed 3 times on the racetrack.
Jack Sprague for 70, 80 laps was the dominant truck the first half. Can he keep it together for 100 laps in this half? That's the question. And it's going to take some time to find out.
The tires wearing out with the key the first time around. Here's Sauter being challenged by Irwin. A terrific battle. In the thick of that is number 66, Ruffner, last year's Rookie of the Year. We have 10 rookies in the show here this afternoon. And this battle is for 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th position.
On board with Joe Ruttman, the precision gear, easy for me to say. On board camera.
And the real bad news was it's going to leadership. There's Ruttman in the middle of the three-truck battle for the lead.
Oh, we got some
trouble. Tammy Jo Kirk has spun and crashed, and also involved is the number 32 of Kenny Hendrick. That's Hendrick who backed into the outside wall. He was already a lap down. Kirk was involved in that big incident early in his far downfield. We'll take a quick break here as Tammy Jo hustles back to the pits for yet more repairs. Hey, it's almost February, and you know what that means. ESPN and ESPN2 going to the World Center of Speed. 17 days, 50 hours of coverage. We kick it off with the Rolex, 24 hours of Daytona, and then we just do everything else that happens down there right up to the end of Speed Weeks, the Daytona 500. 17 days of coverage starting on January the 30th. We are excited about that. There's the big trioval. It does look like a little Pocono, doesn't it? And there's the bad news for Kenny Hendrick. His truck is backed into the wall over there, and here's how it came about. Just the tail end of it, Benny.
Well, there's a 07 car of Tammy Jo Kirk, the first car we see spun, and the Kenny Hendrick car is backed in the outside retaining wall. What caused all this, have no idea. Maybe Barry Sid can shed some light into it. Oh, I see some contact between those two as Hendrick tried to go by Tammy Jo on the inside. And looked like Kenny Hendrick hits the wall head on. And there we see Ron Hornaday walking towards his car. Bill Weber?
Well, Ron, obviously you are in some discomfort.
Not really. It'll set in tonight, but we'll get this Napper Soleil back together and make some laps for this championship. One of them deals. I seen Butch Miller slow down. Looked like he's going to the pits. Toby Butler waved me by because, you know, it's a little faster. Got alongside Toby. It looked like Butch came back on the track and made it 3 wide. This track's not big enough for 2 going through there. We made it 3 wide. I hate to see it. Brand new truck. They'll get it fixed. We'll make some laps.
This has not happened to you in this series, Ron. A very unusual situation.
Well, you know, Mike Skinner's awful tough. You've seen what he did. He got hurt the first race. He came back and made a charge for it. We can do it with this Napa Chevrolet. We'll figure it out.
You're going to try and get back out?
I'm ready. Let's get that thing. Got to straighten the steering shaft. I know that. It's been all the way up to the windshield, but I hate to say it, but that was a brand new truck.
Ouch.
Sorry, Dale, Teresa, but we'll get her back together. We'll figure something out.
It's Ron Hornaday, the defending series champion, behind the wall now.
Man, that hurts just watching him try to walk across there and hold his side so it doesn't shake too much as he takes a step.
And try to smile at the same time.
Exactly.
He did the best he could to put a good face on it. They are, in fact, trying to fix the truck, but it's taken a lot of hits here. Rookie drivers in the race. Tammy Jo Kirk has been involved in her 3rd incident of the day here. 2 of those, in her defense, were not her fault. Toby Porter, as we said, has had a great run here. He's 19th after starting all the way in the back. And then kind of a mixed bag of results for the rest of them. The best of the bunch is Kenny Irwin Jr., who is inside the top 10, the USAC National Pigeon Champion, having a good run here today. Key point, I guess, is that most of the rookies are still out there in accumulating position. This is the competition yellow. They'll refuel the trucks, and we'll come back to finish this thing at Disney World.
Last few laps of today's Chevy Truck Challenge event here at the Walt Disney World Speedway.
We're back to green at Walt Disney Speedway. Just 1 lap ago, Jack Sprague getting the jump on Joe Ruttman. And number 17, Resendiz, as the scramble for positions is on back in the pack. Rich Bickle having at it pretty good there with Jimmy Hensley in a position scrap. But these are the 3 drivers that appear to be the class of the field here, Benny, and continuing to have some question about Sprague and the performance of his truck. They did a lot of work on it there during that quick break.
That's what it looked like. They were stringing the front end to see if the toe end was off. You might have to put some tape on the nose of the truck. I think maybe there we see as all the trucks go by, and Rick Crawford in that bright blue truck fighting for position. Dan Press is still out there. Here's Lonnie Rush in the 35, the green and yellow one. And Tammy Jo.
Deal off season. And there's Kirk, who has suffered today after that initial crash, but soldiers on in the Jeff Bodine machine. Here is your leader, Jack Sprague, who burned the tires off in the first half and slipped to third at the break, but now has come back strong to dominate in the second half, as he did in the first in terms of laps led. Ruttman, having started 16th, marched quickly to the front and has been around the lead all day, has held it only once and only briefly, but may still be the truck to beat. Resendiz, after that big burst of speed that carried him to the lead, seems pretty content to sit there in third and save the tires now.
I don't know that he's content. Maybe that's all he can do at this point in time. Sprague right now looks like putting a couple of car lengths on his competitors. Joe Nemechek in the Bell South truck has just took his car to the garage area and parked, and Rich Bickle continues to lose position. The leader at the halfway point, the Die-Hard truck, continues to lose positions as Rick Pirelli and Butch Miller goes by.
Pirelli appears to have saved the best for late in the race. That is the best he's run thus far as he takes over fourth, and Butch Miller came right with him into fifth spot. Bickle, boy, he is going backwards. There goes Hensley at 43 and Sauter in the 3. And just like that, Bickle's going to be all the way back in what, 7th spot, 8th spot. Tough sledding. Walt's punch after they load at the halfway point. Good news is they got their Gatorade money. We've got 10 cautions today, just one short of the record 11 for a super speedway record of 11 last year at Homestead. So it has been a crash bar affair.
This is Jimmy Hensley's Cummins Dodge as he looks back at Jay Sauter, the driver for Richard Childress this year in the Goodrich Chevy. There they are, 3 and the 3.
Sauter has stayed out of most of the trouble today, although as you can see the left rear is beat up a little bit. Started 21st, currently sits in 7th spot in front of Bickle, who is now 8th. Now we mentioned that Walt has gone from happy to sad. Let's see how sad as we go to Bill Weber.
Well, Darrell Waltrip, you told me you were saving tires, but now you have a motor problem?
Yeah, Rick's just called in and said that the engine had started skipping. We're afraid it may have broken a valve spring. He's going to have to back off and hopefully make it to the finish now. That's what we're hoping for. We don't want to blow up if we can help it.
Boy, this racing can really be an up and down day for you, even if you're just watching.
Well, I've had a fun day, though. At least we led halfway, and that was big for us.
So success in mid-race for Bickle. New outfit, run that well, lead the race, get a big check. Yeah, it's frustrating when you break apart, but still, it's good to know that you're competitive.
Well, that's the whole thing, is they leave here knowing that they can't run with any truck here. See all these trucks going by the 68. That's Bobby Goddard driving for Carl Wagner, that yellow truck that these vehicles went by just a moment ago.
Bobby has lost a couple of laps here today and soldiering on, just accumulating laps. But no, I'll take that. Just lost one lap. He is inside the top 20 at 18th spot, so that's not a bad run. Jay Sauter in that black 3. It's interesting that he was on the short list for the very first truck campaign of Richard Childress. Skinner got the ride and the championship. As we go back with the Jack Sprague with about a 5-truck interval. Sauter now gets his shot at the big league, and he's done a good job here today. He is 7th. Let's go to Marty.
The crew Dennis Conner is the crew chief for Jack Sprague, but we ought to call him a jockey today. He told me, he says, I feel like I'm trying to rein in a racehorse. And he says, I get him to calm down for a few laps, and then all of a sudden, Jack gets racy again on him. They really studied that right front tire. They were checking the toe. It was okay. He said it looked pretty good at the brake. He says they think they can go if we can just keep Jack from running out from underneath of it.
Jack likes to go to the front. If he can win this deal, it'll be the first time in Truck Series history that the same driver has won 3 in a row on the super speedway. He likes the big racetracks, but Conner speaking there to the issue of tire wear and strategy. Concerned about his guy. Hey, what are you going to do when you got Joe Ruttman bearing down on you, right?
Well, that's just exactly what I was going to say, but that shot has gone away. We see Rich Bickle now backed up, and Kenny Irwin has gone by.
So this is going to be 7th, 8th, 9th, and now Bickle at the tail end of the top 10, complaining of a miss in the engine. You're on board with Rich. If I were Joe Ruttman, I would certainly be thinking, well, let's go up and put the pressure on Sprague if we can. And Bickle, you're thinking, well, I'm going to hang on and just hope for the best here. Let's go back down trackside for more on the second place truck of Joe Ruttman, number 80.
Well, Dave, what they're hoping is that Joe can rope in the leader, but he does have a little bit of a handling problem, a little loose through the turns. But his crew told me it's no different than anybody else is fighting out there. They hope to challenge in the closing laps.
And perhaps significantly here, they are pulling away from Resendiz, so the hope that Dave might had appears to be going south with the laps winding down here. We're at 1:59, so it's 40 to go. We'll take a break and come back with more from Orlando.
We get ready for final round coverage of the 97 Health South inaugural, and right now through 12 holes, Michelle McGann, our leader after 2 rounds with only a 1-shot advantage over Corey Webb, last year's Rookie of the Year. That's coming up next on ESPN.
ESPN Speed World coverage of the 1997 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series opener from Orlando, being brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. Well, the long-lasting trucks are, for the moment, Sprague and Ruttman. And of those two, let's give Sprague the nod, because Ruttman is certainly not putting any pressure on him right now. Right?
No, he's not. As a matter of fact, he's lost a couple of spots. And, you know, defense of Jack Sprague, we talked about just a moment ago, trying to keep the reins on the guy and hold him back. But you look up in the rearview mirror and the guy's 3 or 4 car lengths behind you. You know, the object is to try to get away from him. Obviously, Jack's just trying to do that. But realize the crew realizes that he has a tire problem, a potential tire problem. They've got to keep those tires on the truck.
And of course, what Dennis Conner, the crew chief, recalls is that in the first half, Sprague ran away to a 4.5-second lead, only to see it evaporate when the tires wore out. Here is Butch Miller, and he has lost a position now to Rick Corelli, and I think Marty can update that story.
Hey, Dave, I got it for you. Butch Miller's had one of those roller coaster days you were talking about. And it started yesterday when he crashed. Then remember earlier we thought he had a drop cylinder? That's what they thought too. It was a bad plug wire. They fixed that. Butch fell all the way to the back of the field. Now he's climbed his way right back up near the front. So a really good day, but they're doing it the hard way in the 20 truck.
All right, Bill Weber, appreciate the hustle on that one. That is Butch Miller sitting in 5th spot, chasing Rick Corelli. Orleans, the sponsorship on that truck. That is Michael Gaughan's organization from out in Las Vegas, and a longtime supporter of Walker Evans and his off-road racing efforts. Now moving over here to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And as he goes chasing after Corelli, you see them moving by Mike Bliss, whose long weekend has come to naught here. He's now 16 laps down after clouding the wall.
Good run for Butch Miller, their first trip out with Walker Evans.
You hook up with a new team, you want to do well. The thing that impresses me is the stick-to-itiveness of that organization this weekend. They didn't have a whole lot in the truck when they showed up. They didn't have a backup after they crashed yesterday at practice. So,
oh, some trouble right in front of the leader. That's the 12 car of Doug George. Some contact between he and the leader of the race. George spins, does a 360, and NASCAR will now throw the caution flag.
An impressive job by George to keep on trucking. When he opened his eyes, he was headed right straight down the racetrack and said, well, let's keep on blasting here. But I'll tell you what, it was a scary moment for the front runners. Let's take another look at it.
There we see the 24 of Sprague come off the corner. He goes up and just runs in the back of this 12 truck, spins him, and around he goes. Wow, that was close. And you're right, George did a terrific job. Did a 360 and just kept on ticking. That's Bob Blake, the carburetor guy's truck, that 12. Inky Wheels, a sponsor on it.
Got a 3-race deal, and they were hoping that Inky might re-up for some additional races. I would say Doug demonstrated his driving ability right there. He deserves a couple of more rides in that thing, I think.
And I think one reason NASCAR threw the yellow flag, as we see Morgan holding, Chris Morgan, the flagman, holding the flag, I think is because Joe Ruttman and all that smoke simply stopped to try to avoid the crash. And the 24, who caused the accident to begin with, simply got a one straightaway lead on Joe Rutman. So NASCAR said, well, that's not quite right for him to end up with such a big lead. Let's throw the caution flag, and he'll have a two truck length lead when they throw the green.
You saw Randy McDonald coming to pit road in the 0 truck, the former Canadian champion.
Let's.
All righty, they're under yellow here for a record-tying 11th time today, as a bunch the field up behind the Chevrolet Pace truck. Jack Sprague just right straight into the back of Doug George. There was no doubt about that. Space Mountain, one of the many attractions that lure the millions of tourists every year here to the Disney Empire, just across the way from Walt Disney World Speedway, inside the gates of the Magic Kingdom. But I'll tell you what, these snowbirds who came south for this race are finally getting what they came for. The jackets are starting to come off among that big crowd. Let's get down to Marty Reed and more on Sprague's situation.
I got a smile on my face because that man right there is Dennis Conner, the crew chief. I went up to him and said, well, are you pacing him pretty good? He goes, no, he's running 29s. I need him to run 30s. He says, thank goodness for the yellow. It may cool it down. Bill Weber, what do you got?
Down here in Joe Rutman's pit, about 30 to go now, and Randy Goss, who's his new crew chief, told me that basically there's a real fine line between who's using up their tires and who is not. They don't think they are. They're hoping Sprague is. Randy believes in the last 15 laps, you'll find out.
Kind of an old reunion here for the motorcycle crowd. Tammy Jo Kirk was a motorcycle racer. Randy Goss is the former AMA Grand National Dirt Track Motorcycle Champion, and now hoping to bring his truck home with a win here today for Rutman. Let's take another look in real time at the incident that brought out this yellow. Real time means real fast.
Yeah, once again, the leader of the race, Jack Sprague, just made contact with Doug George, and around he goes. Now, we're going to have a restart, and Joe Rutman in the 80 truck is going to be right on the back bumper of the leader.
We've certainly enjoyed the shots we've seen from the blimp. There is no place more interesting to look at those Goodyear Stars and Stripes blimp pictures than here at the Walt Disney Kingdom, where there is so much to see, so many attractions. We thank Captain Maloney and the crew. They've done a great job today in showing us the scene and this unique three-cornered racetrack with elevation changes, three very different corners, a racetrack on which a lot of people thought passing would be difficult. We've seen our share of passing today. We've seen a whole lot of crashing today, and before this thing is over, we may very well see a spectacular finish, because with just a bit more than 25 miles to go, getting back to green, we have Sprague, Rutman, Resendiz, Corelli, and Miller all hooked up in the top 5 spots. Green is in the air, and we're back at it.
About 27 laps to go. There's the first 3 cars, nose to tail.
The rookie's doing a good job. We alluded to that earlier, but it appears that 9 of the 10 rookies are still on the racetrack and accumulating laps. Meanwhile, the experience up front paying off.
And Corelli moves up right behind the 7 of Resendiz, and Corelli takes a look for 3rd spot.
Take a look long. He's by.
He got some trouble. Toby Porter. Around he goes.
I bragged on that days, and look what happened to him there.
And there's 3 or 4 trucks spun over there. I see 3. There's Boris Said in the 44, Toby Porter in the 10. There goes Boris leading.
Said he's going to drive away from it.
And the caution flag does wave.
Well, the new record for cautions on a super speedway racetrack for the NASCAR Craftsman trucks. That's the 12th of the day, and here's how it unfolded.
That's the Kenny Irwin on the inside of the 10 of Porter. He loses control. I didn't even see him spun over there. They lose control. I guess that was the other truck. I said 3 was there, and 3 were there, and
boy, look at him missing it.
How in the world? And we see Boris Said. That's Boris who comes down in the 44 and basically stops on pit road. One more look as from our speed shot as they come off the corner. There we see Kenny Irwin going around in the Rebestis truck. He does a 360, gets it pointed in the right direction. Toby Porter's going to go up and make some contact with the outside retaining wall. It didn't look like it was too severe.
big, wide racetrack, but the racing groove itself is somewhat narrow. Here's what Sid saw as he arrived. Ooh.
Wow. Man, he got the nose off the ground. That little accident.
Kenny Irwin Jr., arguably the trigger for that, or at least involved in the initial contact with number 10 Porter that sent them both around and created the chaos behind them. Bob Jenkins will have winter heat later on today. Winston West action. It's the 97 Series opener. That's going to be 3 o'clock Eastern time, 35 minutes or so away from Tucson, Arizona. That's over on ESPN2. And coming up next, of course, on ESPN, as we mentioned earlier, the Health South inaugural final round golf from right here at Walt Disney World. Race running long. We'll rejoin golf, or we will join golf immediately following the conclusion of the race. Lonnie Rush has come down pit road. He's had a respectable run here today, still on the lead lap, and will stay there as he'll rejoin before the caution truck comes around. He is in 16th spot. Lonnie's first appearance in the truck division, paying off here with the top 20 if he can keep it together. Mike Bliss, on the other hand, tough day. Qualified badly, got wrecked, 18 laps down, 25th in the running order. Right in front of him, the remains of Tammy Kirk's truck as she continues to accumulate laps. Currently 07, 17 laps down. That could end up in a position battle. We're going green with Sprague out front. Can Ruttman do something with him? And what about Corelli, who emerges late in the race as a threat to win?
Just like the first half. Just like the first half, Rick Bickle came from no place to challenge and lead at the halfway. Here comes Rick Corelli.
It pays to invest at the end of the race. Corelli's been there, but not spectacular all day. Now he's coming on.
Corelli takes a look, and he's there. Battle for second spot. Corelli, the rematch, takes it over.
Rick Ruttman slipped right up the hill when Corelli arrived, and Rick said, "Thank you very much. That's exactly what I had in mind. Now the guy I want is the leader." Meanwhile, Resendiz in the white number 7 under attack by Butch Miller and the white number 20. That's for 4th and 5th. I think Benny's a good enough to run it down.
I don't know. Strong truck. And right now, he's not making any progress towards doing that. Oh, Taylor got a little happy as he came off the corner, wiggle a little bit.
He got around Ruttman with run of the D's, but Joe stuck right with him in the ensuing lap. Now you see Sauter in the black 3 up to 6th. There's Ruttman back by Corelli. So that may have been a flash in the pan. Whatever you say about the proceedings today, the fact is Jack Sprague has just had the top truck all day long.
Just for about 10 laps, that from lap 90 to 100, he was not the best truck. As a matter of fact, fell back from the 2nd or 3rd spot. And Rich Bickle led it halfway. Joe Ruttman looks like to have had the 2nd best truck most of the day.
Curious about Corelli's situation here. He looks strong. Now he's backing up again. Let's see if we can get more on that from Bill.
Well, Dave, after the drivers' meeting this morning, his crew chief, Rick Wren, was one of the many crew chiefs that were concerned about tires, but they're not concerned about this season. They look at last year as really an entire learning season. This year, they have all Hopkins chassis. They had a variety of different chassis last year. They've changed to Hutter engines. Everybody has a year experience. They are very optimistic this year, and they are really hoping that Rick Corelli can show his stuff in 1997, and he may show it here in the last 20 or so laps.
Corelli showed Ruttman some stuff there for a moment, but I have a feeling that the key word in the paragraph Bill just delivered may be tires, because Corelli immediately back up and is losing touch. So coming up next, we've got golf. If you've tuned in just now to see the golf tournament, we will be going across the way 3.5 miles to the Health South inaugural in a moment. Here is your position battle for 4th and 5th spot. Give it to Butch Miller.
And Resendiz is going to lose lots and lots of spots, it looks like, because he's on the outside, and Resendiz spins up in the 2nd corner.
Around goes Resendiz, and what a frustrating won't say end because he'll continue, but what a frustrating conclusion to his run at the lead.
And no yellow flag. What a tough break for Resendez. The green still is on the racetrack.
They try to get this thing done, obviously, and Resendez is going to pay for it. Ruttman, 10 truck lengths behind the leader, Jack Sprague. Sprague's crew chief says he's going too fast. Jack says, I got to go fast because Ruttman's back there. And this whole thing's going to be decided in 15 laps. This is precisely the point at which Rich Bickle went up and took the lead from Sprague in the first segment. There were 15 laps to go. Not precisely the same because this segment is a mile shorter. The point is, if Sprague's wearing out his tires, we're going to see the evidence of it real soon. 10 trucks down to 5.
Looks like maybe a piece of fiberglass coming off the nose of Resendez's truck.
Resendez managed to gather things back up and continue, and
there we see Resendez as he goes in the corner. That's Butch Miller on the inside, Jay Sauter in the 3, and right there some contact between the 3 and the 7. Jay Sauter's been unable to keep that 3 truck on the bottom all day. That's twice we've seen him go up and clip someone down in turn 1.
I saw the piece go flying off the front, but the yellow did not fly. Back with your lead battle as the laps begin to count down here. Sprague in the Chevrolet, Ruttman in the Ford. 2 of the top teams from Winston Cup strutting their stuff here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Sprague's truck from Hendrick Motorsports, Ruttman's from Roush Racing. The interval is closing ever so slowly.
And Toby Porter, the 10 truck, looks like he's had an engine problem as he's going to pit road and smoking heavily.
Kenny Irwin, after a spin, trying to get himself back inside the top 10. He's currently shown 15th. He's trying to work around Stacy Compton, who deserves a call here, having kept his truck inside the top 20 all day. Stacy in the 86 is now 14th. Irwin will be a little more, cautious perhaps in dealing with Compton.
Don't think so, because he's on the inside. Those trucks on the inside been losing the back end of the corner, and as they save it, go up the hill and make contact with the other truck. This time, Irwin was able to keep his truck under control and take the spot away from Stacy Compton. Troy Selberg is the crew chief on this 86 truck. Butch Mock, the owner.
Butch insisted to me yesterday that he is not officially the owner of that truck. He says, oh, we got trouble. Around and into the wall goes Brian Refner in the 66. Hit it a pretty good lick. We've got yellow again late as Refner involved in a pretty major incident here.
Yeah, some heavy contact to the left rear of that truck.
Brian Refner, former ASA champion. Former ASA Rookie of the Year, moving around inside. Now down comes the window net. The universal sign that the driver is okay.
Let's take a look. There we see the 99 truck going on the inside. Refner does not realize that Chuck Bound is there. He comes down the hill. Oh, I see Bound tries to get on the apron of the racetrack to dodge him. When he gets sideways, he goes up and bangs the 66 in the left rear.
Bound did a heck of a job of hanging on to that thing. About bounced out from under him, but Refner pays the price. Here's another angle.
And watch as the 99 gets on the apron of the racetrack. There we see he's going to go down and get on the apron of the racetrack, get sideways. When he saves it, back up the hill he goes and in the left rear. And Jimmy Hensley in the 43 drives by.
Jimmy had a pretty good look at all that. Incidents on the racetrack here at Walt Disney World Speedway. Across the way at the Lake Buena Vista Golf Course, the action continues, and we'll go there live immediately following the conclusion of the race. Stay with us. Coming down to the proverbial NASCAR-style shootout here at Walt Disney World Speedway, the opening of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for 1997. A lot of surprises today. Ron Hornaday Jr., the reigning champion, having difficulties. The golf going on over across the way. The Health South inaugural, and will be joining there immediately after the conclusion of the race. It will be a single file restart as we go inside the last 10 laps here to determine whether Jack Sprague will be able to hold off Joe Ruttman, Rick Corelli, Butch Miller, Rich Bickle, and the rest of the field. If Bickle's got a 7-cylinder truck, I'd say he's hanging on pretty well, because in that orange and black, he is in 5th spot. We've got one more look at the mishap that has just put us under this, I hope, final yellow of the day.
Riding along Jimmy Hensley, and he goes in the corner, and all of a sudden they wreck in front of him. He just nails the gas and says, "Let me by." Now, our scoring monitor has blown. Oh, okay, now it's working. So we're showing 193 on our monitor. So there must be 6 to go when they get the green flag.
Cannot finish under yellow in the Truck Series. In the event we would have another yellow, they would go to at the end of the race, they would go to a white flag and then a green. Let's go to Marty quickly.
All I can do is I talked to Dennis Conner right during the yellow. He says, man, we didn't need that. He is so worried. He thinks Joe Ruttman has saved his tires and has just enough to take his man. This is going to be some kind of shootout.
Connor's a worrywart, Benny. He's been upset about that. There's Dennis. Got a lot of experience over the years. Used to work with Harry Hyde. He fears Joe Ruttman in the Ford. We'll find out what Joe's got for the leading Chevy of Jack Sprague as the green goes in the air.
And that's a single file restart. All of the cars on the lead lap, nose to tail. So the guy you're battling with, you're right beside him.
Good restart. Pulls out 4 truck lengths on Ruttman. Ruttman closes it up a bit through the corner. Now down to the scary part of the racetrack.
3.
Go through there fast enough, shake that camera every lap. Making a truck length difference here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series opener. Here comes Ruttman. Connor's worst fears realized. He is there and challenging Jack Sprague.
Sprague got the truck loose as he came off the second corner. Just about lost the back end. They were concerned about the right front tire. They might have adjusted for that, and now the truck a little bit too loose.
Position fight behind him. Butch Miller blasts his way through, picks up a spot. Bickle comes with him to 4th, and the victim of that was the 6th truck of Corelli, who's now back to 5th.
Oh, he almost had a crash up in 3 and 4 as Rick Crawford and the 99 of Chuck Bound made some contact.
Bound's having a lot of fun here in the late laps. There goes Compton back in front of that bunch. Back to the lead. Measure it in inches now as Ruttman attacks the Quaker State Chevy out front.
Jack Sprague guarded the inside.
5 to go. Ruttman,
3 laps to go.
3 to go.
Our scoring monitor is blown up, Dave, so don't pay any attention to it.
I'll tell you what, there's only one thing we need to know right now, and that's what's happening on your television set, ladies and gentlemen. It has come down to these 2 guys. We'll keep you posted on the laps as we count them down.
Joe Ruttman, the LCI truck, did not win in 1996. He desperately wants to do something about it. Joe almost had a spot to stick that nose, not quite.
Jack Sprague won the last 2 races last year, is determined to win this one again. Blocking maneuvers down the backstretch, evasive maneuvers as Sprague tries to get away from the persistent Ruttman.
That guy in 3rd place, Butch Miller, might be in pretty good shape.
Into the grass goes Sprague with a lap to go. White flag flies. Ruttman trying to get the nose alongside. They touch. And around goes Sprague. He's into the outside wall. Ruttman goes by on the final lap of the race. Ruttman making contact with the tail of Sprague's truck. Sprague goes around, and Ruttman appears to be home free.
Here comes Joe Ruttman to turn 3, and yes, like I said, Butch Miller almost was in good shape.
Well, they say all's fair in love war in the last lap, and Ruttman takes the checkered flag in the Roush Racing LCI Team Ford, his 3rd career NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series victory. Let's go quickly to Bill Weber.
Randy, Gus, congratulations. A wild finish. You said it'd come down to the last 15. It came down to the last 1.
Yeah, the truck was really good. I mean, the LCI Ford was dialed in today. Our shot guy did a heck of a job for us.
Ruttman was really focused today after he screwed up qualifying yesterday, but it's just a great deal. I'm happy for him.
You save your tires?
No, he was hanging it out. I think our shot guy did it for us. I really do.
Okay, head to victory lane. Congratulations, Joe Ruttman, the winner.
First win for those guys together. Ruttman's first win with Roush Racing. He won 2 races in 1995. Here's how it happened, Benny.
Well, he goes down in the corner. He hits the brakes awfully hard. He thought he had a run, but he saw that Sprague was coming down, and we saw the nose of the 80 truck go down as he tried to stop. He couldn't. Made contact, and a gut round goes Sprague.
After leading 175 laps today, Jack Sprague's race ends against the concrete wall outside turn 1. And Joe Ruttman drives to victory lane, second in the points in 95, fourth in 96. He's off to a winning start. In 1997, he has won the Chevy Trucks Challenge here at Walt Disney World Speedway. Marty.
Well, we're down in victory lane with a very happy Joe Ruttman.
Gosh, dog, we should have done this a long time ago. I can't believe, Randy Goss and Rich Reichenbach and all the guys on the team, Matt and Ken, and I don't want to forget anyone because these guys have been digging real hard, and we've had a winning truck right along, and Jack has reminded me that 2 or 3 times, and he had a big, long talk with me last night, so maybe, Jack, this is your win, or maybe it's both of our wins. I'm really, really pumped, and I'm glad to have MCI aboard, and now I can make some phone calls because it's a lot cheaper now.
There's your winner, Joe Ruttman.
All right, Benny, you called him a man on a mission. Today, he's the man at the top of the heap. Great run.
Great run by Joe Ruttman. And Joe, it's LCI. Look on your hat there, buddy.
NASCAR has ruled that the pass will stand, that indeed, again, all's fair in the last lap. Sprague trying to come down and block the line. Ruttman making the effort to miss him. Watch the nose dive on the number 80.
There we see the nose dive as he sees Sprague coming down the hill.
Down below the white line went the number 80 trying to avoid him, and around goes Sprague. And that is the story of the season opener for 1997. A heartwarming win for Joe Ruttman and a huge heartbreak for the man who had the dominant truck all day, Jack Sprague. Pick your favorite driver as we run you down through the field. Some impressive performances by rookies here today.